off-stage gameplay, I still feel like Ridley can go for those off-stage, you know, really crazy mix-ups. I think Ridley is going to be just fine too. Ridley can kind of box with Falco off-stage, right? You want to try messing around with a nair, try to crouch it again with a back air, something like that up against Falco. But right now, a lot of these early combos and multi-hits are doing pretty well here for Colin.
Yeah, that forward tilt not safe on hit. Conk getting even more damage, 60% already. You can see Holo trying to get in with that run-in shield, gets the bread and butter. Can they get anything more off of it? No. Right now, Holo kind of fishing, but I don't even mind that. Being up 3 stocks, you can afford to throw out those riskier options, but I'm not sure if it's necessary quite yet, as right now, Conk run away with this stock. A ledge trap situation. Can Conk get the kill? No, overcommits on that down air. Now it's center stage for Holo.
That's right. We're seeing a lot of interesting options coming in from Holo, almost like they're fishing for kill options. But the thing is, you know, Cox only have 42%. So I'm not sure which game they're playing or if they're looking at the wrong stock count or something. But there are some curious options coming in for Holo, but really Holo's struggling to find any sort of significant way in. Falco is going to be faster. Falco is going to be jumping around a lot more. But getting those throws, trying to get some follow-up afterward is going to be the name of the game here for Holo. It's rough. There's a nice down tilt. No up air to follow up, though. Falco, great DI here from Conk, really to keep himself out of danger's way. Now we have no ledge invincibility as a regrab, but Conk doesn't quite go for anything. 174%, you're really on the heavier side. Falco, again, a character struggles a bit to kill. Let's see how long Holo can live for.
These forward airs seem to be the main kill option Conk is going for. Tries to go for a back air right there, but nothing connects, and now at 186%, they have to get off ledge. Nice reflect, though, to force them to think twice. Side B right there. Doesn't combo into up air. Holo is hanging onto this stock, and that's terrifying for Conk. If Conk can't get this off with all the work they put in,
he's still alive! Let's not forget about Rage. Now any significant hit from Ridley is probably taking out this Falco, no matter where on stage. It's going to be 219% of Rage. Still living on the right side. There's the laser for chip damage, 225%. This is Falco syndrome if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, and Conk just keeps trying to call out these high jumps, and Holo is not giving it to them. And Holo, they're fine to remain content on the ground. Ridley's tilts are amazing. Throws out that forward throw, forward tilt, tippers, and viewers Conk right as they're looking for that kill once again. It was, you guessed it, a forward air once again that was called out by that forward tilt, and that disjoint at the end of the tail was enough to finish off that stock. Heartbreaking right there for Conk.
That's got to hurt. But as I said before, Falco syndrome, that's a character that can stack up the percent. You know, I gotta say, Conk was pretty consistently outplaying Holo in neutral, I would say, for most of that game. But towards the end, it was those singular hits, right? It was when Conk started getting, again, greedy and thirsty for the kill, right? That now suddenly Holo's like, oh, you know, I can get some punishes off, right? Maybe I can grab an air here. Maybe I can get a down throw, try to go for a juggle situation, catch an air dodge back to stage, something like that, right? Something simple. And over time, the percent racked up, and suddenly you have a 225% Ridley up against a 90% Falco, where pretty much any strong hit for that Ridley is going to kill. And finally, as you said, calling out that forward air with a tipper forward tilt takes it for Holo, and now it's 6 stocks to 3. For Juniata over Dallas Baptist University. We're going to see who Dallas Baptist's last player is going to be, but they've got a huge mountain to climb, right? Only 3 stocks in there to deal with 6, and I think Ridley is quite a character that I think is pretty solid at taking stocks. So already you've got someone to kind of worry about front-facing, and then after that, you don't even know who's next, if you can make it that far. So there's a lot riding here on Dallas Baptist University's last player. Let's see if they've got it.
Yep, it's going to be Frost Dragon coming in here for the final player. Hero and Joker is the name of the game for them. I honestly don't mind that for either. Both of them have the range to deal with. I mean, on paper, it's like, yeah, sure, go for the top tier. But I do feel like Hero has a pretty good argument here, too, with Hero being able to use, like, Drift Back Thunder, completely invalidating a lot of characters' horizontal games and having a lot of kill potential in that menu hidden away. I feel like either of those matchups could be good. I mean, the one thing we just got to be looking out for, consistently, it has been the killing that has been kind of the bane. I mean, it's the bane of a lot of people's existence. I stand by the fact that at a lower level, mid-level, even towards a high level, having your kill confirms on lock is the most important skill you can have above combo game, above neutral, whatever that means. You need to have your kill confirms. You need to know at the end of the day, if you have them at 80 to 110%, you can kill them off of a grab, off of a landing nair. Whatever you've got in your toolkit, you have to know how to secure those, because otherwise you get those runaway trains just like that.
Yeah, honestly, that's a pretty respectable take. I can understand the importance of kill confirm, because on top of that, right, when you're looking for those kill confirms, those are suddenly very high pressure situations too. So it kind of teaches you to play smarter, right? Ideally, if you want to actually land that kill, you can't get greedy. You can't start fishing, because you are going to lose so many interactions because of it. So now if you kind of got an opponent down in your sights of, oh, this is kill percent, I got to start looking for my kill confirms. You can't just start mashing that all the time thinking, oh, it's going to work eventually, right? It's more about trying to play smart, trying to play around and maybe bait and condition your opponent into try and make those lands. So, not a terrible skill. You brought up the hero before, and honestly, I am also a bit of a hero believer myself. But here's the thing about Hero. I think the character, for example, up against Ridley here, I think it's a pretty playable matchup. I would hope, right? I do think Ridley is still faster, and Hero's going to struggle with that speed a lot, but Hero can use that range, can use a lot of those spells to try and even out. But the big thing about Hero is that he's got so many polarizing matchups that I feel like even if he is able to take care of the Ridley, you have no idea what's coming next. And that is extremely scary. So I think the safer option here would be to go for the Joker, and that's what we're going to get here. Another thing to point out about Joker here for crew battles especially is, right, let's assume that Frost is going to end up losing stocks here in this set against Hollow, but is going to end up winning and playing against Juniata's last player, right? From there, they're going to have much faster Arsene generation because they have less stocks. So having Arsene online a lot more often makes it a lot easier to bring that back and make it even. So honestly, Joker's a great character when playing from behind.
Yeah, gotta love the college crew battle meta right there. Always evolving, always changing, but right now, you can see, even though there's some initial damage right there, we've seen this consistently from Dallas players. Juniata striking back. Polo going onto the stock. Oh, very deep right there.
Yeah, Frost went super deep for that nair. Might have been a misinput fast foul. Honestly, not sure what else they've been looking for. But we got really even percents here so far. About 1/3 left on Arsene. This is kind of the time to be looking for that kill. Once Arsene goes down, I think Joker's going to struggle a lot with trying to land a kill, especially on a character like Ridley. Ooh, we're going to be looking for an up air forward air here. Ridley is going to go low, make it all the way back to stage. There's a neutral air. Wow, that forward smash without Arsene. I have to eat my words for that one. He was able to get it. That's a hard read. He was able to deservedly earn that kill.
Yeah, but even so, the forward smash has so little end lag on it. It's not like throwing Ridley's forward smash out, for example. I mean, I don't hate to see it. And right now, if we see the low percent combos once again, if Frost is able to consistently get those reads at high percent, this could be looking much better. We might even see another Arsene on this stock with how Holo's been struggling to get a hit in.
Right. Scary thing here is Ridley is a lot slower compared to Joker. He can just kind of run in, space those aerials, run away, cover so many options, and of course get those kill confirms. Nice platform drop back air. Get that annoying Joker stock out of the way. 63% 2-0. This is going to be a little tough here for Hops. I wonder if we're going to be seeing any hard Rebels Guard reads here to try and speed up the Arsene process. But honestly, Frost seems to be doing just fine without him.
Ooh. Nice little parry right there. And right now, Frost is doing a great job of closing the distance, making Holo sweat, getting caught by some of the larger areas like the nair, like the back air. But all in all, I was about to say that, but getting caught in the Arsene transformation actually was to Frost's detriment, gave Holo time to get that up smash.
Ooh, looking for that counter. There's a whiff Tetracar. Now we're looking pretty much even percent here. Nice command grab. There's going to be kill spark. Not quite going to take the stock, though. Arsene is down. Is able to get the nair. Is the uppie still going to land? It is. We're going to see an unfortunate SD.
Pineapple.
From Apollo's Ed. That's going to hurt so badly. We're going to see a pretty sick Joker combo to start off the stock. But, man, you hate to see it. I love those high pressure, very high percent tense situations. Nice dash attack in neutral. Sometimes you got to go for those raw kill options. And now, again, we're even one stock to one stock. Can Hollow close this out for Juniata? Or is Dallas Baptist University going to stay alive with one stock moving into the next game? It's all decided here.
Oh my gosh, Joker is so lithe and nimble, just slipping through so many of those confirms. Instant Arsene off of those fireballs right there. You cannot let Frost get that Rebels Guard, as right now, Arsene ledge trapping. It's infamous as some of the best in the game, but can you survive? That'd be drags away a lot of that Arsene.
I love the very simple mix-up of catching people who mash out of Ridley side B. Oh my goodness! is actually able to get a neutral B into dash attack combo right there. Joker was not expecting it. Frost was not expecting it. And Hollow is going to bring in the first dub here, the first game for Juniata. 4 stocks to 0. That's big. That's big.
That's
shutting down
big.
that Joker, especially with the potential that Arsene has to absolutely wreak havoc with the increased generation from 1 stocks to 3. It could have been a bloodbath for that last game if Hollow let it get there. But they didn't. And they're going to take that first game for the set. And now we're back to square one here for both teams.
Yeah, it really feels like, well, Juniata came to play. They came to adapt. They weren't expecting to just get a stomp, because sometimes teams, they're winning hard and then their opponents start to fix the mistakes that they're being used against them. And all of a sudden, the person who was winning, they're on the back foot. That's how reverse 3-0s happen. It's hard to adapt in the middle of a set. However, what we are seeing right there is big adaptations, especially towards the end by Frost, cleaning up. I mean, the main issue we kept calling out was the kind of like universal Marthritis, inability to get kills, but Frost really cleaned that up. However, then we saw Juniata, we saw Holo still stay ahead. We saw them still shore up their defensive options, stay away from the ledge where those kills were most threatening, and obviously get some more confirms unlock themselves. Like, the Rebels Guard comes out, I was like, oh, wait, yeah, why haven't we seen that at all yet? The second time we see those fireballs come out, it's the end of the game.
it's death right there. Yeah, it's a mix-up option, right? Because, maybe it's part of the mind games where Joker is now thinking, oh, they've already used the fireballs before. Like, there's no reason for them trying to go for it again. I'll just reflect it or absorb it for Rebels Guard gauge, for Arsene gauge. And nonetheless, they happen to go for a ledge anyway, catches the jump up, and then the dash attack is going to close out the stock right there. I was going to talk about some other unique interaction, and my brain just cut off the line because it saw the kill confirm right there, and now I don't even remember what interaction was going on between Joker and Ridley right there. But I mean, that's the end of the set there. Now the question then becomes, what adaptations can we see from DBU, especially in terms of roster placement, to try and maybe spin things around here a little bit for them, right? What characters they want to open up with? Do they kind of like their current strategy? Do you want to have Conk open up instead, right? Do we want to keep the Ridley out there? Okay, there it is. So we're going to have Conk actually coming in first here from DBU's end, up against Hops from Juniata. So likely going to be seeing a Falco Wii Fit. A rematch, except now we're going to be going on even stocks. Super excited to see where it goes.
I kind of like this. I talked about how it felt like, in theory, Conk had the tools to win that matchup, and they were using them, but they just weren't being used effectively. It didn't feel like they were certain... It felt like they were good, but not game-changing. But we did see in the matchup against Holo that, well, they did have the combo game. They did understand how to rack up damage fast, how to secure kills at times. So if we do see Conk come in, they shore up their spacing, especially, get a lot of more landing hitboxes instead of just throwing out the forward air on shield. I feel like this could at least be a much more even game. Even if you don't win it out, you can keep Conk, or sorry, you can keep Hops from going on a rampage through your team.
Absolutely. Whew, yeah, a lot's gonna be ready here on Conk to try and keep this more even with Hops, right? Last time we did see the struggle to kill, and that's, again, as we said, a pretty common issue, but especially one that we saw, I think, specifically from Conk, where they just had their opponents sitting close to 200%, a little below, a little above. Either way, that's really, really bad range. You don't want to have your opponent sitting there. So I think the Conk opener is to try to be more of a vote of confidence for Conk himself and try to push out these stocks, get more of these kills, and then have the rest of the team try to play the kind of cleanup game. And also, it's a more of a distribution of matchups too. Right, like DBU's Ridley player may not want to be dealing with as much of Hops as they were dealing with before, considering they're both openers last time. That whole back and forth of where the matchups layer and whatnot, that's very important to consider, how confident players are feeling and whatnot. Here's the kicker though. We still haven't seen Juniata's third player. Never got around to it. Never got around to it. And not to mention, in these crew battles, you can actually have a roster of more than 3. And from game to game, you can switch out the players that are actually playing the set of 3. So there's a good chance here, right? On DPU's end, they may not have the same 3 players they had from last game. We could be trying to predict, oh, you know, these players played these characters last time. Completely new player hops in, completely new character. I think, are we seeing a Joker here from Kong? This time instead of the Falco?
Yeah, looks like it. I did know Joker was one of their main characters. I know both Joker and ZSS don't do amazing online, but as we saw from Frost, ain't too bad. As right now, Hops is on the end of one bread and butter, but not before they get a grab of their own. Everything's very even. However, I do like how Joker has a very good poke tool in that EHA.
Yeah, I'm liking the Joker pick here over Falco. Of course, Falco is also great at zoning, but to some degree with the lasers, right? They actually apply hits down. They're pretty obnoxious. Annoying for neutral, but with how slippery Joker is and how more consistent his confirms are for damage and even for kills when we get to that range, not even bring up Arsene yet, right? I think this is definitely a lot more fundamentally well-rounded character. Maybe his combos aren't as long as Falco. He might not be getting off as much damage without Arsene. But at the end of the day, I think Joker still makes it work, and I think this is a pretty good option for this matchup. You know, Wii Fit is a bit of an unwieldy character, a little slow, but also deceptively faster if you're trying to go in with a heavier, bigger character like Ridley, and that's something that Joker can box with pretty well. Meanwhile, Hops is going to have to be a lot more methodical and strategic about what moves they bring out. Here is the first hit of forward air into drag down up into that down smash. These are the kill confirms I was talking about. Man, that was beautiful to see.
Yeah, Conk, this is definitely more of a comfort character. You can see every single move flows a lot more easily into one another. Nothing feels forced, nothing feels stiff. But now you've got to get off ledge against Wii Fit. Just rolls right on through that ledge pressure. Maybe Hop's getting a little too aggressive right on top of the ledge, as trying to go for a lot of spaced aerials into jabs. But, I mean, as I brought up in the Frost set, Joker is a slippery beast. You cannot expect him to remain in one place for long, even through a multi-jab.
That's right. Yeah, I think Conk is getting a little bit panicky right here with his own high percent, because I'm seeing a lot of like potential combo starters or like really nice neutral options, but we just see him running around, right? Partially, potentially strategy to try and get Arsene back up, but not able to build too much of a lead right now. Only 36% on Hops, while at 163 himself. Joker, you know, pretty reasonably in kill percent. Great magic reflect right there to get a big damage here onto Hops. Potentially kill right here. Great back air too, 163%, and that's 2 stocks up. This is huge for Conk and huge for DBU.
Conk with the miracle opening for Dallas Baptist University. Exactly what they needed. Right here, I mean, this is looking exactly like what Hops did in the first game. Avoids that drag down, but air dodges right into the forward smashes. Conk keeps the pressure up. 184 on Joker is terrifying. Finally, forward tilt will finish off a stock. Deep breathing is online. Wii Fit can steal stocks, but we haven't seen it from Hops yet. Can they make a miracle happen?
Yeah, big damage to deep breathing, right? It's almost like a mini Arsene that, you know, Wii Fit can try and counteract with. But man, loving these combos, loving these regrabs and keeping the strings and everything flowing from Joker. There's a Rebel Guard. Ooh, great timing there from Hops actually at the up tilt. Perfectly not to apply all of that Arsene gauge. But I mean, Arsene is still pretty much right about to be up. 75% here on Joker, 94 on Hops. We could potentially be seeing Conk getting a little greedy here, fishing for stuff. I did see that double back air, but you know, back air is one of those safer options that you're not the most punished for throwing out. There is, you know, drop down back air. Probably looking for something off stage here. There's the down air.
Goes for that forward air spike, gets the header right here. Was that an overcommitment? Is that going to end the game right here? As Conk is having trouble getting out of disadvantage, falls down with Rebel's Guard, but that's not a kill move. Does get another Rebel's Guard. They want another Arsene. They want it bad. Fishing for that be their detriment, or will it be what they need to win the game? Hops does bring it the last stock.
Right, 112 here. That's a bit of that Conk kind of. It almost feels like sometimes when they have the high percent or they're like looking for the kill option, it feels like they play a little lost or like aimless almost, where it's more like they're playing a little bit more to a flowchart and just like, oh, these buttons should work. And sometimes it doesn't even check to confirm if the first hit hit the opponent. Still continues to go with it anyway. One example I can bring up is a fall down nair, and then he dashes completely the opposite direction and still presses grab. And I'm just like, whew, I don't know who they're trying to go for here. So maybe Conk's getting a little bit under the pressure and trying to rely a little bit too instinctually. And in doing so, committing to kind of these hard reads that should be a little bit safer if you try to play off reaction instead.
finally.
Not quite.
Air dodges in, barely lives right there. Ooh, right there, Wii Fit. It's just barely managed to get back to the stage. Hops holds on right now. Reflects out. Hops is Scrooging. They cannot get this stock off of Hops. Hops is just always just a little bit out of reach. Finally, enough unsafe option out of shield. Conk reaps the benefits of the early lead that they built, but not before Hops made it look so much closer than it had to be.
That's right. Yeah, great stuff to Hops there for taking advantage of that. A lot of whiffs there from Conk. The kind of aimlessness I was talking a little bit. Conk was going a little too hard on those buttons pressed, looking like a Roy player just a bit. But I think Conk will just be hanging perfectly fine here with that one stock on Joker. Our Sen gauge is going to go super high. Pretty much one Rebels Guard read of like on almost any move will do it for our Sen. We're going to be seeing our Sen very quickly and quite often in a one stock to 3. That's just the way the game mechanics work. It really ties well into the way crew battles, the back and forth kind of happen. So super curious to see who Juniata wants to send in response to Joker, because I mean that's a very well-rounded character. It's not easily the most easily like matchup counter pickable. You know, I think it's going to be a lot of people just playing what they want to play rather than be like, oh, how am I going to strategize around Joker? Right? If you've got an idea, sure, go for it. A big thing here is again, Joker's at one stock. If you just want to get big damage out there to try to secure a kill, you can go for the risky big body heavyweight, right? Because they can get big comboed by Joker, but at the same time, one read is all it takes sometimes. And so that's always up on the table. I'm always super hyped to see the characters like Ganon, or even sometimes the Little Mac, right? As these kind of like crazy revenge killers. My personal favorite characters to watch though are the fighting game characters. So if anyone wants to bring those out to take a quick clean stock too, I would be more than happy.
Yeah, I mean, not many people have those just in their back pocket, though. Honestly, the Pocket Kazuya is growing in popularity, and I can understand why. But I agree. A lot of what you called out there, you need characters in crew battles that can make comebacks out of nowhere, that can take stocks like it's nothing. And technically, every character in the game can do that, but there are some who are a lot better at it than others. Right. Whether it's through crazy reversals at ledge, like, honestly, an underrated one is Mario, who can just clip you at ledge with an falling up air, as we saw this weekend, and then boom, you're dead. Up air, forward air, gone. Yep. Or, you know, more traditional touch of death, such as Kazuya on the ground, Little Mac getting a KO punch at 20. Either way, though, it is going to be the Ridley coming out here. Ridley, I mentioned, does have ways to take stocks instantly. 2 smashes with forward smash are insane, or 2 frames with forward smash, but we didn't really see that much. And on to Kalos right here. It's going to be tough to lose the distance. I'm actually a little curious about this pick.
Yeah, I'm also kind of curious all around. We did see Hollow play against Frost Joker last time, so maybe they're feeling like, oh, you know, Hollow feels confident about Joker. I think the circumstance is a little bit different here, though. And I think this one stock is more just about Joker doing as much damage as possible very quickly. Nice 35% string to start off, right? This is before our Sen's even getting involved. This is just big body things that Joker loves dealing with. So already 63%, Hollow's not found a win. So one thing to note here is Hollow's not playing the same Joker as last time. This isn't Frost. This is Conk, a completely different person, completely different player. So just being confident on the character alone, especially a well-rounded character like Joker, is really not enough. You have to be playing those mind games. You have to be keeping up the adaptation to try and deal with all players, all options, as fast, as quickly as you can. But right now, Hollow is struggling.
I love how Conk is playing this. They're not always holding in. A lot of times, they keep holding in, and just as Hollow tries to get a counter hit, they drift back with an EHA or the gun, and makes it so it's this constant push and pull that Conk is always getting the upper hand in.
That was 7%. You know, I was expecting something like this to happen to Joker, but not the way that played out. I wasn't expecting it to be a 7.5% stock where Joker didn't even get to pop out Arsene. I was expecting more, maybe the 30-40%, and then once Arsene comes up, it's just an absolute like bloodbath. But here we're seeing Conk play so smartly, as you said before, the weaving in and out, great punishes and finding those openings to get in and get big damage too. Like these strings are a lot longer now that Ridley is a bigger character that they can play around.
They are, counter is gonna hurt a decent bit. Right now you can see the confidence that Hollow had in the previous game seems nowhere to be found because Conk has made them be afraid. This is why I was scared of this pick, because how realistically does Holo close the gap right here? I mean, it's terrifying to go in against Joker like that. Finally gets Frost or Conk at the ledge, hard forward smash. Maybe they want these tech chases on the platforms, but even so, it feels like Conk has the upper edge on this side of the stage more often than not.
Yeah, great parry. I gotta say, this might be a bit of Joker syndrome too, but I really feel like Conk plays a lot better without Arsene than with. With Arsene, it was a lot more of your standard fishing for kill options or big damage. Oh. Wow! That side special should not have killed. That's definitely a DI mishap. That was only Joker around 95. We had 75% rage on Ridley. Definitely hold in. You will live that. Even if it is Kalos, that is insane. That is insane. I mean, the kill spark pops out a lot. That happens a lot with Ridley side B. It's really funny looking. But man, that actually killed. That's crazy.
Did you see what they were doing, though, on ledge? That was Conk feeling themselves way too hard. They did a tether cancel, wall jump, wave bounce, side B, right as the side B connected on them. They were pushing in all different directions all at once. I do not blame them for being caught slipping on the DI right there. They were trying to schmoove a little too hard. And obviously, I do think that's a good option, but sometimes it is best to just crush them with a rock. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, I'm left speechless by that option. Genuinely did not expect any of what happened that last 5 seconds. That blows my mind. But here we are. We've got one stock down here for Juniata, I believe. It's 2 stocks left here on Holo, and it's going to be next player sending from DBU. 6 stocks on DBU, 5 on Juniata. Keeping it really close. Juniata's trying to really bring that back. We had Hops play really well up against Conk initially to try and keep that, and then we had that super, super solid strong stock that Conk opened this game against Holo with, right? 7.5%, no need for Arsene, none of that, right? But after the fact, once Arsene did get in, I guess it's just the Unga Bunga gene activated. Oh, I have Arsene, let me press buttons. And so the whole game plan fell through and Holo found their footing. And they were able to bring that back. And as you said, maybe a bit of cockiness too.
Yeah, which I don't blame them for. They had a great opening, but as powerful as that opening felt, especially compared to last game, you know Conk has got to be feeling good about that. It is still only 6 stocks to 5. And while, 1 stock is still a substantial lead, that's not crazy to come back from. We've seen how Holo can just delete stocks at ledge with that side B. So if they can continue that pressure, continue their ledge trapping with forward tilts, the occasional forward smash mixed in there, I am not feeling awful about Juniata coming back into this, especially considering, like you said, we haven't even seen their anchor.
Yes, we haven't. Super, super exciting. Let's see if DBU can bring down Juniata to the last player, or if Holo's going to just clean house here. We do have a Ridley Ditto on deck as a possible option here. I believe DBU's Ridley has not played yet. Right, because it's only been Conk that's played so far for DBU in this game. So they're available, and Holo is still in. Do we want to see some Ridley on Ridley action? I don't know. I don't know how either player would really feel about that. But more importantly, this is more DBU's kind of imperative to send in more of a winning matchup, considering they are the one that has the counter pick here.
Well,
yeah. I think Frost also potentially still on deck, so you could be seeing another Joker.
It is. I think it is going to be Frost coming in right here, which I think is pretty interesting. A little bit of a rerun of what we saw last time. Anchor coming in early, and I mean, you saw how well the Joker was doing. Obviously, at this point, Holo has gotten a lot of Joker practice in just this one crew battle, so you've got to hope they're ready. But even so, being ready for Joker often isn't enough. We saw consistently that push and pull dominating that game. The fact that Joker was able to choose whether he wants to push the combo game or drop back and just get some chip damage while making you uncomfortable. If you're able to get some more overshoot in, if Holo is able... Okay, never mind. It's Hero coming in from Frost. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah, so we are already kind of seeing how Holo and Frost Joker is going to go down. I was going to bring this up too, right? We already seen Holo kind of conquer Frost Joker last game. So I was like, for one, do they still want to send in Frost? Or for two, does Frost still want to play Joker? So looks like Frost is going to be the one to go in, but we're going to be seeing the Hero this time around. I think this matchup is playable. You're going to have to worry about speed. Really going to have to worry about speed.
All right, eating some instant damage. Down tilt, connecting when it had no right to. As right now, Hops is doing a great job ushering Frost to the side of the stage. No time to really get that menu out. They do have a fully charged fireball. Could be some big damage here on the ledge, shield damage at the very least, but no dash attack off of it. Instead, it is still Hollow for the time being, holding this opening.
They had Kaboom on deck, but they opt to go for the Psych Up instead. Wonder what's going on with that decision making, but yeah, this is I think something where Joker wants to create distance, right? The projectile really has a bit slower. Ooh, that's a hard commit, fully charged side B there. Big punish with the forward air too. We have a lowish mana here on Hero. That angle is gonna be caught by the backer. Now we're even on stocks here. Hollow 2 Frost Dragon, 2 stocks, 5 stocks for both teams. 51% 2-9. I think Hollow's doing a pretty good job of trying to play around Hero your standard way, right? Keep it fast, keep it quick, and punish the relatively unsafe options. Just watch out for your own shield and watch out for the really crazy Hero gimmicks.
Yeah, I do like right here how Frost. Oh, never mind. It's Hollow all day. Hopping up to catch him with a back air. No jump, I believe, but a very good high recovery right there. Pops right on over them. That's not too great. As the Magic Burst leaves you without any resources off stage, just nudges them away, forced to air dodge. Oh, Frost does get back to stage, but they are having a lot of trouble getting down right now. Dash Tech will finish the stock. This is prime Hollow.
That's bad. Yeah, that Magic Burst I think is really odd, right? That move is actually fantastic when you have 100 mana, but Frost only had 30 mana. That's going to be nothing. Absolutely no kill potential there, not a whole lot of range, and of course, extremely punished when, as you said, no mana left over, making the offstage gameplay also extremely dangerous. But honestly, Hollow doesn't even have to care about any of that. Hollow is just going for this crazy juggles, getting those down tilt scoops, getting those up tilt air dodge reads, and then from there, up airs, nairs, and its damage is flying back and forth. Crazy punish there on the side B. Frost is really greedy with those.
Yeah, Frost having a lot of trouble just getting out of disadvantage, getting back on stage where they feel comfortable. There's only 11 mana left. Doesn't even bother to open the menu. Doesn't bother to charge anything. There's nothing you can do. Tech chased on the platform, and that is going to be Hollow weeping through those stocks. That's lead dissipated crazy. In an instant.
It really did. It really did. Yeah, I was feeling an up smash on that roll read on the platform, but they went for the even cooler jump forward, get the back air instead. Wonderful. Great stuff to Hollow there. That was some good Ridley gameplay all around. Hero was struggling to find a way in, to find any significant hits back and forth. That's the thing about Hero. The game needs to be slow. If you're playing against a character that's just running in your face, wants to be in your face all the time, it is so tough for Hero to get anything going, right? Those normals are okay. You can sometimes get people off you. You can sometimes box with forward tilt. But, I mean, your big money, your big value moves are all with your down B in the command menu, and you need time to pull that out and to launch something. Top decking, you can try. And honestly, not the worst option all the time, but you're going to be rolling some risks there. You might be getting some funny moves out back and forth. Bounce could have been helpful, right? With the bounce, you can now sit back more reliably and not have to worry about the fireballs that Ridley's throwing. Not have to worry about the cheese puffs that he's vomiting out you. It's like you just run back to all of those. There's nothing to worry about here. But now, unfortunately, we're going to have to put the Hero away as DBU is going to have to pull out their last player.
Yeah, and I feel like that showcase in particular demonstrated that Hollow's greatest strength is their juggling ability. You didn't really see that against the Joker. His Joker is very hard to juggle, with a lot of B-reverse mix-ups in air, down guns, disjointed aerials on the landing, and reversals off of those aerials. You don't want to be trying to juggle Joker willy-nilly. Hero, not so much. Not a lot Hero can do to mix up the landings that doesn't put them into tumble. And that means we could see Hollow all day, every day, and if you dared open up the menu as you're falling, then Hollow gets some big damage off of that. That right there showed why maybe Hollow struggled a little more against the two Jokers, but as soon as you gave them someone they could toss up in the air, they were having a field day.
Right. Like, Hero's specials affect his air momentum too, but they actually slow him down. Meanwhile, that's kind of not what you really want to be dealing with against a character like Ridley, especially if your airspeed is bad, right? Hero's airspeed is not great. And so if you're slowing down your own air momentum by hopping up a little bit, whether it be the neutral B, side B, or any of your down Bs that happen to have that property too, all that does is, especially a character against Ridley who has like multiple jumps, right? If it's a 2-jump character, sure, that's a mix-up. Sure, that could work out, right? But Ridley's got 3 jumps to work with. That's just one more X press, one more up press, and then an up air, and you're pretty much stuck in the same spot and or worse. And because of bad airspeed and because of not being able to return to the ground really fast, as you said, great juggle opportunities there for Ridley. And we did see quite a lot of that. We saw those air dodge landings with the up tilts. We saw the double up airs. We're seeing those nairs catch so much. It was a great show there for an absolute carnage. Ridley was feasting on that matchup.
And none of it really felt like overcommitment either. Like we did see like when they were struggling to get in against Konk's Joker, we saw some like random forward smashes. We saw some side Bs where you weren't going to hit anyone with that side B, be honest with yourself. But that time, it was a lot of forward tilts, up tilts, safe spaced aerials, drift back aerials, which I love to see. Nothing that really felt like, oh, if they miss this, they're going to get hard punished. A little bit of communication error. We'll be back into the game to finish up what could very well be the very last game as quick as we can. As just to reset the stakes, Dallas Baptist University, 3 stocks stand between them and getting 2-0'd by Juniata College, who is looking pretty strong right now.
Yeah, these guys being even records so far, it's still quite the back and forth, especially in the second game. That first game was looking a little strong there for Juniata. DBU was kind of struggling to find their footing here, but the second game I think was definitely more palpable from both sides up until right now, where we had Hollow 3-stock Frost not drop a single stock to there. So it going from a 6-5, it's a 3-5 from DBU to Juniata. So that's going to be a really, really tough for DBU's last player. I believe last time we saw Minixo's Ridley. So we could potentially be seeing the Ridley on Ridley action as we were talking about before, or this could be a time for DBU to try and pull in someone new, right? They have another person on their roster, another character matchup they might want to play instead, and try to put that up against the Ridley, and then potentially what is last there. But honestly, Hollow has been the absolute gatekeeper to Juniata's last player. We don't know who they are. We haven't seen them to date, and there is a decent chance we still may not see them today. They may not have to play at all for both games in this set, and that would be that'd be pretty funny. And it's all thanks to Hollow there for just being the absolute madman gatekeeper.
And I mean, pretty much both of the players we've seen from Juniata have gotten their chance to shine. You gotta remember, Hops went on a 5-stock rampage opening up that initial game. Some crazy reversals at times, consistent zoning, maybe not the biggest confirms or combos, but at the end of the day, when you're forcing your opponent to make crazy decisions just to even lay a finger on you, sometimes it's okay to not have the craziest punish game. As both these players have put on a show, Juniata has shown themselves to be a crazy competitor. Dallas has potential. Dallas has put the brakes on them. Dallas has put the brakes on Juniata time and time again, but they haven't closed. It always felt like Juniata sees them take 2 steps forward and then takes 5 in return. And with that lead that Juniata has built, they're feeling pretty good. As we did mention, they have a little disconnect. I thank you all for your patience as we're getting into that.
I believe the arena just went down. Yeah, I think they accidentally disconnected. Nothing too crazy. They're just making up a new arena. We'll be jumping right back into that real quickly. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. If you guys are just tuning in right now, it is 1-0 in Juniata's favor, and it's 5 stocks in Juniata to 3 stocks on DBU. We could potentially be looking at the end of the set here in this next upcoming game. Hollow is still in with 2 stocks. We don't know who DBU wants to send in next. There's so many variables up there, so much pressure, so much tension, especially right here on DBU's last player, because this is their set life right now that's on the line. Right, this last player goes down, and that's it. They're down, and they're no longer an even record teams within the group. It's pretty intense.
We will see a ditto, because I do know that it is going to be Minixo coming in. It's going to be Ridley on Ridley, 2 stocks. 2 stocks for the side of Holo, 3 for Minixo, but then they have the masked anchor still waiting in the depths of Juniata, waiting to be unleashed. But this Ridley ditto, I mean, there's not a lot of commentary you can give on a ditto, just that they both know how to exploit each other's weaknesses so well. There's no way they can't.
Yeah, it's going to be less about character matchup because, they are literally the same character. That's not really quite going to be too effective of an analysis. However, it's going to be a lot more on player habits and player's own understanding. Because ultimately, the Ditto is still a matchup you kind of have to learn to some degree. You have to know what works, what doesn't work. And so if either player is more experienced in this, or if, either player has more insight onto how to handle it or whatever, right? This could suddenly end up swinging very strongly in one person's way, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like they are significantly outplaying their opponent, or that they're just like way better or whatever. Those are variables that are also hard to quantify for one. But I'm interested to see what kind of interesting matchup quirks and interactions we might see, because I honestly can't think of anything too insane off the top of my head besides maybe both opening with neutral B and then nothing happens.
Come on, give it to us. Give us that mirror. Make it a true mirror.
Oh, we get Verse Ridley as the theme as well. Well, it looks. Are we going for a button check, or is this going to be the game?
Oh, they do have to reset the stock, says.
Oh, yeah, looks like we're going in here.
We are getting into the full game.
We have Hollow go for one SD, and then we got Minixo on the other side. Here the neutral Bs canceling each other out. That's some slower Ridley neutral gameplay, I guess. We're going to be seeing a lot of attempted down tilts to scoop. We have up tilts to try to get combos going. There's the down tilt forward air, and then trying to maybe catch landing with up tilts. Forward tilts can be kind of this get off me and spacing grounded neutral tool, and we're looking for those up airs for juggles. Potentially some down throws too. I think since they're both big bodies, they can both get some big combos. Nice catch on the side B at ledge with the down tilt for the scoop. Ooh, big read there from Hobbs looking for that forward smash, but Ridley went past. Rather, Minixo went past and got the up smash in return. There is a side B. Send offline.
Minixo has an opportunity, but well, clanks right on through those fireballs. You can see Holo's playing this careful, playing this safe, knowing that they can take this stock away. Goes for the back air. I like that. That would have made a much stronger offstage situation than just going for the safe forward air. Uh-oh. Stage. And you get off ledge right here.
Oh, that singular neutral B catching the regular getup is an interesting interaction. Not a whole lot of follow-up, but it's good for damage. Ooh, sent flying. There's that side special. Still not killing 138%. Hops gonna be looking for something. Here's a down throw, maybe a back air. Not quite gonna land it. There's an up smash, no punish, too much shield push. And backward spacing. There's a dash attack, an air dodge in. Catch with the fireballs. We were looking at an air gimp here. There it is. Can Ridley still make it back? The angles don't work in your favor with the Ridley up special. And that's another stock down here for DBU. They have 2 stocks left, while we still have the 5 on Juniata.
Ooh, hard call out on that read. You saw Minixo just stood still for a solid 5 seconds and waited. They're like, Holo wants to land on top of me. It's what I would do.
Yep, and then you sit and just take that up smash. Such a strong and potent kill move. Oh, we're going for the offstage gameplay. There's the stage spike from the neutral air. Holo is a monster.
They live that. They live that. And now Holo has a very even game to play from. Minixo struggling to stabilize. Air dodges in.
We're seeing the
goes for one of their own. They do the same exact thing. Minixo gives Holo a taste of their own medicine and gets us to that last stock situation. I can't believe that.
My goodness. So that is the funny, I guess, matchup quirk that we were going to be looking at. They're both so hungry for that offstage gameplay, so hungry for those gimp options, and they love using that side B on one another. You know what? Now it makes sense, right? They're tall. That side B will latch. You're going to get that command grab more often than against other characters. And then we saw those shenanigans offstage.
They literally both did the same exact sequence twice. They're like, hey, I saw that same tech video you did. I saw the same Twitter clip.
I can do it too. I can do it too.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Like, it's... Well, we finally get to see who is the last in the roster for Juniata. Props right there for Holo for holding it down, keeping it even, and stealing that stock away when it felt they had no right to. However, that stock being stolen away, that flashy play that inspired Minixo to go down there and try it too, that does mean only 1 stock left for Dallas Baptist. If they take 1 bad combo, 1 bad extension, all of a sudden, well, they're not going to be taking this crew battle home. It will be Juniata winning it out, so needs to be a nigh flawless game right here from Minixo.
This is pretty scary here for DBU and Minixo. It's one stock here on a character I think is like fairly counter pickable, with Ridley kind of being I wouldn't say like super polarizing matchup wise. I think he can try and play whatever, but there are definitely going to be winning matchups, characters, and archetypes that Ridley will be struggling up against. So now Juniata has, well, honestly, in our minds at least, completely limitless freedom because we don't know who their third player is. We don't know what character they could be playing, so we could really expect to see pretty much anything. And because of that, they might want. Hopefully, that's a player that can pull out a matchup that favors against Ridley, just classic sortie or classic just really fast upfront boxer, right? Or it could be a more of a niche kind of comfort pick that they just like to play on their own more, maybe some odd zoner, or I guess this is more on the niche comfort pick area. I don't feel the greatest about this matchup in theory, in Mewtwo's favor, so this could be Minixo's time to try and close this out and make this a game 3, but who knows? It's 3 stocks to 1. All Mewtwo's job is here to take out 1 stock, and Mewtwo can still do well up against those tolerant characters. Get those Nair loops in, get those down tilts, those dash attacks, up tilts, and of course the forward air. There's a lot Mewtwo still has to offer, but I think Ridley is going to outpace Mewtwo a lot, and the offstage gameplay could get a little messy if the up Bs get predictable. So we'll see where this matchup goes. I'm really, really interested.
Yeah, Mewtwo in general, for me, Mewtwo feels like Pichu, except you know how Pichu's moves do not look like they should do that much damage or knockback? Mewtwo's do. Mewtwo does actually have the associating visuals. However, Mewtwo also explodes just as easily as Pichu. And so that kind of hurts a lot. No jawing about the big matchup, no jawing about the tail right there, because Ridley has all the same problems. However, Fry also has 2 more stocks to work with. So, 1 overextension from either of them could be the stock.
Yeah, this is super, super scary. I think Mewtwo pretty much embodies that like glass cannon type feel, right? You're tall, but you're light. You'll get hit by most hits at low percent, and you will die very quickly at high percent. And everything's gonna connect on you. It just sucks to play around. But there is damage output on your end too, right? Those up tilts can scoop, that down tilt can spook. Great movement there with the wave bounce on the neutral beat, but sometimes moves like the back are a little too slow. That forward air is quite fast, and we just see the out of shield punish with it. There is the side beat, get some percent racked up. A lot's going to be hanging out on Fry here to hopefully not misstep too hard and bring it in for Juniata, and this is kind of Minixo's time to shine. Great down smash, big knock up there. We're using that side beat to mix up momentum just a little bit. But we're going to see Fry lose a stock here as Minixo gets 1 down.
Yeah, very clean opening stock right there. Minixo catches the roll away. Oh! Minixo playing with fire right there, but Fry is starting to stack on some damage. Shadow Ball controls the ground, but it's not enough. Gets caught by the juggling situation. Minixo goes in hard. Side B across the stage. It's not enough. Gets caught by the disable. Cannot mash out of it fast enough. That down smash will obliterate the stock. And in an instant, Minixo is down, and that is Juniata College taking it home off of Fry, their anchor.
Wow. After what it seemed like Minixo really trying to gain significant advantage there, and Fry struggling a little bit to kind of maintain some sense of stability. They're just going to jump down, land a disable, fully charge a down smash in the opposite direction from ledge. They're much closer to left ledge, still holding right, charging right, and going right. Still going to kill off the top on really at 72%. Wow. That is... If you asked me how I expected any of those games to end, that would have been the last thing I would have said. I would have said, oh yeah, falling disable. That'll definitely close it out. Absolutely incredible. Great stuff there to Fry. Great stuff there to Juniata for bringing in the second game as well. 2 stocks to none, and ultimately taking the set 2-0. How are we feeling tonight, Kylo?
Yeah. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Both these teams had a chance to show just how saucy they could get, but ultimately, like you said, Juniata coming up on top, and I think that's going to be just about it for Smash Brothers. But Esports U is not done yet. Stick around, because up next we've got an exciting Rainbow Six Siege match. It's going to be Wayne State versus SUNY Canton with Corbeck and Suga on the mic. So thank you very much for watching, and everyone else, stick around.
We'll see you next time.
Specifically, schools need to create meaningful live experiences, and if we're talking explicitly about fandom. You have to make the students on your campus care about the team first. That's the biggest thing. Either you create a level of pride through community engagement, or through the team itself. Um, at a lot of schools, the groundwork is there for this. Like there are schools like UBC, Ohio State, with Buckeye Gaming Collective that have uh, clubs that number in the 2 to 3,000 range, right? So they have a base to begin with. At a school like Maryville, like we kind of developed it the opposite way. When I came in and started building our esports program, we had 3 kids in our esports club, and so we've kind of built the team, and then the club has followed, which is kind of the opposite for a lot of schools. But um, I think that we have to develop tribalism, and that starts with meaningful live events. And the more that these events, the longer that these events continue to be like only online, the less effective it is in creating that final goal.
Agreed. Doc, you wrap it up for us, please.
I would just say this: clubs ebb and flow based on their leadership. But if all students, all clubs, all groups are given regular and meaningful invitations to come in, use the space, create what you want out of this, then it will continue to thrive despite the change in leadership. I can just imagine that Cincy student group with Chris heavy in the leadership there just being amazing. But there's not always someone with his skill set at the helm. So you just need to be open and look for opportunities to serve, even though it can be more difficult, especially in the scheduling of the space. I know a lot of people that don't like anybody else but the players they're recruited to use their space. As much as we can, if we want to build community, we have to open the space to people that we wouldn't normally see in there and let them do the types of things that they want to do.
One more thing, so like on a national level though, if we want to raise the general viewership of all of collegiate esports and not just different pockets, that's a hard one because people watch esports to see people do stuff that they're better than them at, right? So naturally at the collegiate level we're going to be at a lower level than pro, so it's hard to get people to watch for that reason. But what we can sell are narratives and storylines, matchup histories, and as we start to build a longer history of collegiate esports, I actually truly believe that some of the CLOL storylines are more rich than what exists in Academy and
100%.
and the LCS, but no one's really covering it. No one's really drilling down into it. No one's creating narrative content. So I think that that's the key to getting people to care about it. Like if there's a storyline, people attach themselves to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing before we end. The largest organizations on any university campus. This is a very blanket statement. Could be wrong for you. It's right for many. Campus ministry and Greek life are always the largest groups on campus. Why? It's because of the concept of family. Let me explain. With a club or a program, many people identify, oh, I am a gamer, but I am also A, B, C. And usually it's I am A, B, C, and I'm also a gamer. Not everyone is a gamer first and foremost. And you're only going to capture that population if you're promoting purely competitive and purely esports. And so I said food nights and social activities. I'm really stealing from campus ministry and Greek life, because what you want to do to build community at your school is to make it so that the thing that you're doing is the number one thing in the students' lives. Now that's a very selfish thing to say, but it's a true statement. For you to grow the largest community, your community needs to feel that the thing that they're a part of is the most important part of their social campus experience. That's why Greek life is so successful. That's why campus ministry is so successful. And when you treat esports as a program of just competition, practice, and development, that's an outlet. That's not a way of life. not for at scale. Not when 55% of the campus body at a Division One school identifies as a gamer in some way, shape, or form. You're not going to touch that 55%. You're going to touch 5%, maybe. You're probably going to touch 0.05% or 0.5% at a Division One school. Um, and so, what you really need to do is build that community authentically by, as Doc said about Dan, what are the people prioritizing, and do that. And how do they enjoy their life? What would they find meaningful? Do that, and then do everything else, because the financials and everything else, the planning and all that matters too, and that's why we have a talent problem in Scholastic Esports. Um, but I will wrap up and say, for the national level, Dan's completely right on narrative. But I'm not worried about that, because the only thing we need to build community nationwide is just time.
Mm-hmm.
We are 2 generations away from critical mass, and all it takes is that the current generation of students to grow up, get in the professional workforce, and have kids and raise them on the things that they were fans of. It's how baseball grew. It's how basketball grew. It's how rugby and all those other sports grow and sustain.
Cornhole grew.
But in all seriousness, all we need is time.
Mhm.
All we need to do is ensure that our products get better, our opportunities become more authentic, accessibility remains open, and monetization remains enough to us to continue to what we're doing and grow.
First, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, so my name is Caitlin. I'm a part of Farmingdale State College's esports club. I am captain of the Valorant Green team. I am a second semester sophomore at Farmingdale State College, and I'm 19 years old.
Okay, do you like Farmingdale so far?
Yeah, it's really great. The program I'm in is very specialized, and it's not offered that often in the East Coast, so it's pretty nice. I enjoy it.
And what's your major?
My major is aerospace professional pilot degree.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Thank you.
So, is this your first time on an esports team?
No, so I've been a part of the Valorant team for 2 semesters, and this is my third semester, and it's my first time ever being a captain.
Okay, oh, that's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about what it's like being a captain?
So a lot of times I'm organizing the team, making sure everyone is properly set for upcoming games, um, getting scrims for our team, and kind of just making sure everyone is there, present, and possible, and able to play the games that we're gonna, you know, be participating in. We're participating in 2 leagues this semester, so it's kind of hectic.
Oh, gosh, yeah, definitely. I can see that. How is it different for you as a player versus as a captain? Do you feel a lot of responsibility?
I basically have the responsibility of choosing who, really plays, what type of characters everyone's playing, and what positions and roles we are all doing, as well as being there not only as a team member, but also being seen as in a leadership role and having that sort of respect there, and being able to delegate everyone's role in the team. So it's definitely a lot more different, and my voice is most definitely heard. So I like it. I like being a captain.
Yeah, that's really good. What games do you play, or what is your main game? I know you mentioned Valorant.
Right. So I play Valorant, but I started off with Counter-Strike, and I really always have been interested in FPSs. So that background has always been there. So my transfer onto Valorant was pretty easy.
That's cool. What have you done to improve yourself in game over time?
So one thing for my teams especially, I have open communication where we're able to really give our constructive criticism without taking offense. And me as a captain, especially being it being my first semester, I find it really important that everyone is able to come to me and communicate like, "Hey, Kate, I don't know how I feel about doing this," or "I want my voice to be heard about this specific thing." And just basically taking into consideration everyone's voice and having that open line of communication is really helpful, and that's something I find really important.
Okay. Do you carry that strategy into your everyday life as well, would you say?
Yeah, communication is really important to me, especially in aviation with crew members. You're always trying to communicate properly and efficiently to get the assigned goal completed, and that works in video games as well as in aviation. So I feel like it transfers very well, and I put my 100% effort in everything I do. I put 100% in the team, the leagues that we're participating in, communicating with opposing teams that we might be going against. All those things I take it really important and can transfer it very well into everyday life.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you think about CECC and just competing in general?
It's a lot of fun, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to participate. And this is something that every single member of our team has said. We've never had the opportunity to really compete in a fashion where it's not only fun, we're able to make friends, talk to other people from different schools. It's just an amazing opportunity and something we would love to participate in the future as well.
Yeah, we're really happy you feel that way. When your team is competing with other teams, are there any specific teams or schools that your team kind of looks out for?
I think we all have the mentality of it doesn't matter who the other team is. We're gonna put 100% effort, and we're going to maintain our mental, even if the other team is full of radiance. It's not something we're gonna keep in mind because we will be able to beat them. Fingers crossed.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a really good mindset. As you probably know, March is Women's History Month, and you being a woman in esports, how do you think that has an effect on esports? What does it mean to you to be a woman in esports and as a captain? Just could you talk about that for a little bit?
Coming into being a woman in aviation, which is already really a niche type of thing, especially women in video games, things like that. It's just we're kind of the minority, and keeping that in mind, a lot of times you have to represent yourself properly because you are representing such a small community. So I feel proud and honored to be a part of the women's in aviation as well as being a woman in esports, and it's a lot of fun, and just understanding that us girls are here too and we're as good as everyone else, and that we have the opportunity to be a leader in esports, and that we're equal to everyone. It's really important to keep that in mind because we're here even though you might not see us too often.
I know you said as captain your voice is heard, but when you first started to be a captain, did everyone take you seriously being a girl? Was that respect there, or did you struggle with that?
So I would say initially when I first got on the team, I was put onto a support role, and everyone knows that women normally play healer when it comes to going into any game, and now I'm playing more of a controller based or sentinel, which is very crucial for holding down sites. So by playing that now and then having those semesters in my backpack of experience, everyone has treated me with respect, and uh, I would hope it stays that way. And either way, I demand respect because I reciprocate that respect to everyone else. So it's definitely difficult, especially for girls starting out. That toxicity is there, especially even now. Whenever I play a game without my team there, that toxicity is there just for being a girl. But as long as you don't have that mindset of them affecting you because you're better than them anyway, it's fine.
Definitely. Well, that's good. I'm happy that you're getting respect that you deserve, and that's awesome. And thank you so much again for your time, and I really appreciate it.
No problem. I just wanted to add that our esports club as well, started only with 13 students and 2 teams in 2019. And now we're up to 19 different teams and over 350 students to date in 2021. Like that progress is there. And even if you have such a small, like, if you think that things are so small, realize that a community is there for you, especially being a female in esports. That community is there for you.
Definitely. That's a great way to end it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it again and your time. Just thank you overall. That's awesome. Keep
No
doing what
problem.
you're doing.
Thank you
Thank
for the opportunity.
you. Of course. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey guys, KTAD here, and just like that, another season of ECAC Esports regular season play has come to a close. Over the last 8 weeks, we saw a crazy amount of hype competition from some of the best collegiate esports has to offer, and as usual, you guys have me one last time to break it all down and to show you guys what we thought were some of the top plays this week. And honestly, guys, I don't have much more to say. Just check it out because I think we've got some really incredible clips here. Let's take a look. In our opening clip, it's Professor Dementium with a straight boot off the stage to kick things off for Bloomfield.
Got himself one. Kick back off stage though. But the air dodge is going to be that Bowser. He'll do it again and he'll also bring himself that down smash so he gets quickly back before that Talk is able to take any sort of advantage. But well, you're gone. The spikes come through. It's clean kick to wrap things up. And well, he's got one. He's got one stock for his troubles.
Up next, the duel of Donkers and Robeast have some things to say with this beautiful 1-2 combo to close the door on Albany.
Hit the intersection, go straight up in the air for Robeast, who's going to work Central Missouri into the offense. Flip reset's a good one. The pass down to Donkers, and he finds the net. A 3-goal deficit in Game 3.
I gotta say, Curtis, it seems like after these two teams came out of Game 2, right? Again.
In our next play, who needs to be able to see your enemy when you can just take a educated guess?
Great, 1-for-1 over towards Catwalk. There's still more where that came from. Myranium is next up, and he will take a couple too many fights. Solsta as well is going to be able to take a couple of fights, winning them both. It's a 1v3, and Novacorium won't be able to do anything. Johnson, Wales.
At number 5, it's Saltonics with this huge flank onto Cole College to secure Temple of Anubis for his team.
Right now, it's got to be just destroying it straight up. Maybe with the Coalescence, maybe the Supercharger, but that Riptire could just immediately rip through.
Here's that Riptire. It does move Joker, but it could have been a catastrophic play. Now Nightbolt is pulled all the way off the point, and that's an easy one. Tonic's coming in with the triple off of that crucial Rocket Barrage, and that is all of them off the point.
Now it's down to Joker just to get the touch onto the point. Tracer.
Coming back to the Bloomfield versus Keene matchup, it was a clutch finish from Zenipu as he finishes off Brandon without dropping a single stock.
No, one more Lisa in life. Lisa on life indeed for Brandon. Looking to hold the ledge, but a recovery from Zenipu. He says second time's the charm. He'll send him to the moon, and once again, Zenipu will not drop a stock.
Last packing our way into the number 2 spot though, it's a 4K from Butta to cement the lead for Providence College.
Back roads around the high ground to try and avoid that as much as possible.
Oh my absolute days! Here was me looking for that Transcendence to counteract the grab, and no, it was just a big fat go button. In comes the pulse bomb, down goes SUNY Poly Wildcats.
Phil, I can't remember the last time I've seen...
Last packing our way into the number 2 spot though, it's a 4K from Butta to cement the lead for Providence College.
Not much more. That tab can go a long way in the latter half, right? Now Retna bringing out that Stimmy, trying to get the opportunity to move the team in forward. Okay, there's that showstopper I was thinking about. It looks like D-Nuns is going to have that show stopped. Sal, not particularly far behind, a 4v2. But really starting to wake up here on the race.
Yeah, wow, so impressive. And 4K there, just going straight through the entire team like a bulldozer. Will not stop until all are taken down.
And in our top play from the last week of regular season play, it is a nail-biter last-second goal that will keep you guessing until the very end.
Leaves their own open, a little bit of high pass, you angle it in, but it's just off the top of the goalpost.
Goalpost coming in deep. Matrix able to find something here. The demolition comes through. 7 seconds left for a true game win, but in overtime feeling incredibly likely. But tied out of a wide open goal. No! No! Orbital, the waffle iron has been flipped, and Farmingdale finds themselves up 4-3. 2 seconds left on the clock. The only hope for Louisville to win this out is with a kickoff goal. They cannot make a single mistake, or they will.
And with that, I mean, what more do you guys want me to say? It was a crazy week to wrap things up, but it's really just been a crazy season overall with the addition of Division A and what I personally think is some of the most competitive action here in collegiate esports. I mean, what a season, and there's only much more to come. With the playoffs starting on April 4th, you guys can expect to see a lot more action that will continue all throughout the month, and that will wrap up on the week of April 25th. Now, if you guys want to stay up to date on all of that, make sure you follow us on Twitter at ECAC_esports, or follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/ECAC_esports. Mondays and Tuesdays, matches will be lighting off at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesdays, it is going to be the doubleheader of Rocket League and Overwatch at 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys are tuned in. And as for me and the rest of the crew behind the scenes that works on not only just the production, but these highlight videos for you guys, we just want to say thank you for joining us for what has been another incredible season. And we look forward to so much more that we're going to bring you guys in the next school year, in the fall and the spring and beyond. We've got a lot of great things coming, so stick around, don't go anywhere. Come back right here to this channel, to this Twitter, to this Twitch, to this YouTube, wherever it is you see this. Stay tuned, because even more is on the way. Thank you guys once again. I've been KTAD. It's been a wonderful season, and we'll see you next time.
That's so cute.
UCF, and it's really cute. I'm gonna move down here. How do we feel? The odds for UCF? What are we thinking?
They got it. No, we got this. We got it. We got it. Go Knights. Charge on.
100%. My friend Nick is behind you. He's gonna record it. Don't look at him. You'll ruin the shot. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
Come on.
Oh, let's go! Let's go! My smile's probably really creepy. I was just being weird.
Oh, I love being in the shadows, though. Big shout out to the shadows.
We could interview Dilly just because I think he's handsome. You weren't supposed to hear.
Here's the thing about the event. I'm the greatest that's ever lived.
Literally true. I know him.
I think everyone knows that. I think everyone's aware of that.
Hey, do you have a VIP access badge on?
I actually have an all access.
Oh, an all access. I thought it said VIP access.
And that's only available for the best.
That's true. He's right. That's a main stage TO right there.
If this goes live, I'm suing everybody.
It's all right. A video of me. The first clip is me saying, "Don't put that in," and then it was the first. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Oh, you're recording already? Great. So this is this is Bay State versus UCF. I believe something that we saw yesterday on day one of the tournament, but instead we're gonna have that run back here. I think they're fighting for a spot in Grand Finals. Anarchy, one of the best Greninja players in the United States, currently struggling against a Terry. Terry notorious for that DLC privilege, being a very strong character with some very strong abilities. Greninja, not so much, considered one of the weaker characters in the game. The Falco player, one of the best in the United States, and he just got spiked by a Terry. Same Terry that took out Anarchy literally minutes ago. UCF still up by 2 stocks. This guy is looking to rip this team apart single-handedly. That is, I mean, nuts, to say the very least. Absolutely absurd. That was a disgusting spike. I cannot believe that happened. Will you hold the microphone so I can sign this? Sorry.
For context, he's got a fan. He's actually signing something. He's so excited.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ECAC Rainbow Six Week 5. Wayne State versus SUNY Canton here tonight. I am Corbeck. Alongside me is Suga. It's promising to be a pretty exciting matchup, actually. Suga, what can you tell me about these two teams before we hop in?
Only thing I can really tell you is about their record within the ECAC. Both of these teams are 3-1, and well, there's a lot of teams tied for third place, but these are one of the two teams tied for third place. Something's got to give. One of these teams has to lose, and well, I'm not too sure which one because they seem to be so evenly matched coming into this matchup.
Well, indeed, here in the digital arena, we might get a bit of a better idea of who's going to come out on top, but hopefully we can jump into our first map. We don't have the graphic up for you just right now, but it will be Border, Oregon, and Clubhouse as a decider. So a mostly standard set of maps right there. Border, Sugar kind of coming out of nowhere. That's a more interesting pick, and one that I actually haven't seen played an awful lot at the collegiate level.
Yeah, this is kind of like with the ECAC. This is kind of like my first time ever being one of my first times ever being involved in collegiate play. The first time, casting with you like 2 weeks ago, but of course, even in competitive play, apart from like T1, you don't see Border a lot, and this is a really surprising ban. Of course, when you take into like the size of Border and how Nook kind of plays into that. Of course, she is a very common ban and competitive nowadays, but on Border, I'm not too sure about that.
That's actually a very valid point. Border is probably one of the smaller maps. There's not as much room for a kind of stealthy roaming character such as Nook to get the kind of value that we often see. But her ban there, I think, really goes to show how much a fear of Nook has sort of infected the meta right now. People are legitimately quite afraid of her. So not surprised to see her taken off the board necessarily, though I do agree it's a bit of an awkward fit for this map.
Yeah, I mean, she also brings in nades, and nades are a big part of Border as well, especially when you think about the amount of power positions that can be played. Now, we do get to see Jackal and Valkyrie ban, two important intel grabbing operators on both sides of the coin, and then the last one is going to be Mirror. So Azami on a board here for Border, and you know what? That is also another shocking thing about the ban phase. So we're already running into shocks, and we haven't even started the first round yet.
Other notable mentions, of course, they're both being shown here on our startup screen, but Thatcher and Kaid are both available here, which is going to make things, I think, a little bit easier for both sides. It's worth pointing out Mira in particular, I think, is an operator that doesn't have a ton of utility on this particular map. She's always good, right? I don't think we can ever say that Mira is a particularly bad operator, but I just don't see her factoring into a lot of the defensive setups that I normally see. So a little surprised maybe that we didn't actually see an Azami or a Kaid go. But here, starting us off on this first run, it doesn't look like Canton will take that Azami. They're bringing a Doc in instead, and that's interesting. More recently, as of late, and I know in both Challenger League and in Pro League, we've actually been seeing Doc and his counterpart Rook being played an awful lot more. So curious to see him in this as well.
Yeah, with Doc, he gets the 200 HP overheal, so no matter what HP you're at, if you get hit with that stem pistol, you're right back to full HP no matter what. So that's also pretty interesting. And also another pretty interesting thing with Rook is I've seen this a lot on Twitter as well as Twitch chat. Sometimes I don't listen to Twitch chat, and sometimes I do, and this is one of the few times that I have. And that's like with Rook, he has this self-revive ability, and so for a lot of setups where there's a lot of vertical nade potential, Rook can be very, very useful in those situations. So I thought that was a very good point to share out there to the rest of the stream. But that happened so quickly that I didn't even get my second word out. The first pick happens onto just how magic as well. I'm questioning how I got that first pick.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and we obviously didn't see it go down, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it was a classic spawn peek gone wrong sort of scenario. Probably trying off one of those top windows there facing over towards the gates. And yeah, I mean, that's just that's the nature of the spawn peek game. Sometimes you get the peek, and sometimes the peek gets you. But a good start for the defense nonetheless. Triggering a proximity alarm right there is impressive. So that's going to give the defenders a reasonable idea of what's going on. And that's actually going to be a good kill by Revexity there to sort of start things off for the defensive side, keeping it at 4-4. They really need to try and contain the roaming of Oryx here. That's actually a pretty dangerous operator to have in the wild as they execute their breach.
Yeah, you can't allow those Oryx to just run around the map here. Well, it'd be the same for any roamer, but at least they're taking care of the players that are in and around the site. ZCG falling, but Revexity, you mentioned him before, and they haven't set up anything to deny him the opportunity to play this aggressive with Country Road grabbing another already Sunny Canton and Wayne State University coming here to blows. Nasty finds a nasty shot onto Baka Bill, and now it's all up to Tommy Bullkiller. Or Terry Bullkiller, sorry.
Good old Terry Bull Keller. I recognize that name, if only because it's so unique. And he'll finally take Revexity off the board. Took him a while to get the roamer down, but they will do so. Unfortunately, now in the 1v2, still having to attack into a very defensively oriented Canton team. And I don't think they're going to have a lot of ground to hoe here. Nasty watching just on that sideline. In fact, it looks like Terry Bull Keller is on their belly, just tiger crawling their way forward. None of those or those EMPs going to do much. Looks off for a split second. The reflex is just not fast enough. And Nasty secures the kill and a round 1 win there for Canton.
Yeah, Wayne State University, unfortunately, falling victim to just the aggressive roam presence there from Sunny Canton, especially from Revexity, who just so happened to get a 2K just from running around the map. And Wayne State University not really doing enough to adjust to that. They did get some nice kills around the site and even got an the first pick inside of the whole entire round. But regardless of that, the main thing that they struggled with was just getting flanked, and they didn't really have any flank drones to set up. And keep in mind, they also had a Nomad too to shut down those flanks, and they still fell victim to it. They wanted to go for a default push as well, but again, didn't really have any sort of advantages inside of the sites. And as soon as bodies started falling, Wayne State University's plans started to fall short.
Oh, it is often the case, and again, I think it's the roam game that really slayed them. I don't want to emphasize it enough, but there was a bit too much of a focus there, I think, of getting on the point and getting the execute done, which they, credit to them, they achieved relatively admirably, the ability to get the wall open right there into Armory, but they just left too much unaccounted for. And one thing I've noticed about Canton in that early round is I don't see a ton of drone game coming out of them. In fact, I think they just lost 2 of their drones here during this prep phase, which is, not exactly what you want to do. And that is something that I think Wayne State is going to want to improve upon as these rounds continue.
Yeah. We mentioned that as well when the flank started to become a problem, is that there's no type of flank drone setup. Wayne State University didn't prep that beforehand, even though flanks are pretty popular in comp play and in ranked as well on border itself. But again, they're going for the same default pushes that you would normally see inside of comp play. At least they open up this not the jail wall, but the tension wall. Get that wall open up an extra line of sight, but they don't even get the first pick. It's Country Road onto Bacaville.
Oh, there you go. 4-4 again, starting us off here, and it looks a little bit like a familiar bit of tape, and this time, though, it looks like the attackers are having a little bit more of a struggle getting their way in. Terry Bull Color up on the top deck needs to be very careful. Revexity is up here lurking, obviously knows that he could potentially have to face off against someone. That Fuse trying to move into a position where they can actually bring their charges to bear. Always easier said than done for that particular operator. Also, he's got Nasty here on the other side of the wall. I don't think he realizes that at all. In fact, I don't think either of them know that their opponent is so close in the same ballpark. If they can kind of twig that, perhaps if the Oryx picks that up, never mind. Revexity actually falling back right there, leaving the Jaeger as the sole operator on the top deck right now. And, well, here goes the Fuse. That'll trigger the proximity alarm and should give a notification to the Jaeger that there's danger afoot.
About 1:05 left to go. Like you said, the proximity alarm giving away the Fuse's position. He decides to fuse into small office, but doesn't find anybody for him. Revexity holding a long angle, but the T5 is just that, a pea shooter. And against the 3 armored Fuse, it's not going to hit unless you actually get a nice headshot onto him. Magic, though, trying to find a headshot, gets flicked on by IG, and that gives up some control towards that workshop-sized ventilation area where IG was just hanging out anyways. So Revexity may need to find a refrag, but Wayne State University, it looks like they just want to try and execute onto site. They push through the doorway of the tension of that jail cells area, and not finding a pick until IG, again in that workshop position, finding that kill early and is making so much use out of this position. But they don't know about Revexity's roam. They don't know about his flank. They're trying to get the plant down, but is anybody watching this properly? Now they know he's in the main lobby area. He tries to push through a wall. FBC deals with him. IG finally falls. It's Nasty in a 1v2.
And the diffuser is planted here as well. That puts the pressure on Nasty. That carbine is good, but it's not good enough to stop the bullets of Terry Bull Keller right there, who whacks him as he walks past that hole in the wall. And it'll be around for the attackers. Wayne State getting on the board here early as well. So that even matchup we were thinking about, Suga, seems to be panning out, at least at first.
Yeah, at first it was kind of worrying there from Wayne State University because again, they were starting to run low on drones at first. Their drone game wasn't really that impressive, especially not in the middle round situations when it came to like trying to find out the position of the roamers. They got their kills based on just Sunny Canton maybe just getting out of position at times or even just getting flicked on in unlucky gunfights. And those are the type of shots you want to hit, but when it comes to like how you actually want to attack, I feel like the droning should be a lot better from Wayne State University, and I don't think they'd have trouble agreeing with me neither.
Yeah, I think you're right there. They've tried. I think they did a little bit better on that round, but some of the things that sort of stood out to me, for example, Terry Bull Keller having to pull up and sort of do their own droning on that top deck. That's the kind of thing that you don't necessarily want your entries to have to be doing, right? Like somebody should really be providing the droning for them. Not that they shouldn't, can't use their own drones, but the idea would be that you don't want them kind of hanging out in a semi-dangerous position, just watching the drone roll through. So that's something that they need to keep in note as well, but still a good round win for them. We go downstairs to another bomb site now as the defenders set up here. They've got a rotate hole ready to go that actually allows them some sort of space to escape, really. Interesting, by the way, they have forsaken the dock, but they have brought Rook along to this particular party, and a Legion as well. Another operator we don't see an awful ton of, but I feel like you can always fit a Legion in, Sugar. You can always get one in there somehow. He's never bad, he's just never great.
Yeah, that is the truth. I think his Legion of Mines aren't invincible anymore, are they? Or are they still invincible?
I think they are still very hard to see. I can't remember if they're specifically invisible or not. Unfortunately, by the way, it did look like ZTG got zoned out right there, droned out, I should say. So we'll have to kind of collapse back a little bit, and certainly did so with great alacrity and reinforce here as they wait really for, I think, a solid entry from Wayne State, who's certainly taking their time.
Nobody's the only person on drones here. Actually, there's now 3 people on drones. As I look back over at the attacker side of things, Bakabil and Keller trying to drone out something so they can find at least something for Wayne State University to work off of. It doesn't seem like they want to go for the default. Since this is workshop, they're not going for like the default push onto the top floor. Of course, they do have the operators for that, the Sledge and the Fuse being the 2 main ones that catch my eye, of course. And they're not really going for that top floor presence or that top floor control on the map. Instead, they're going for a more horizontal take, looking to take this east side of the map, push the Rook out of this position. And one thing that Wayne State have been struggling with is the roamers. And so dealing with the roamers early on, or at least the players holding the extensions, is a really good idea from them. But again, they still have so much to worry about with Magic finding a trade after ZTG fell first.
There you go. It's turning into a 3v3 very rapidly. A slow start building up into a snowball of violence here at the end. Just how Magic playing tightly off of that doorway will actually back up here and give a little bit of space, and I think that's the right call. You'll see the Gemini coming out here. Baka Bill swing in and getting the kill on Country Road. Easy as you please, leaving it in a 3v2. Revexity, though, again with the kill, making it 3 total on the match for him. Revexity now going to use the Oryx ability. No, he'll wave right off of that hole and come walking back. They're holding a relatively strong defensive position. Impressive finally getting the default cam down there. It's Revexity swinging out, misses his shots. Very lucky to get out of that alive. Impressive doubling back, looking for a target, won't find it. He turns the other direction, and Revexity with the dolphin dive into the shot right there. Well, that was a close one there for the Oryx, though, I must admit.
Yeah, no. Revexity had a shot like that in round number 2, I believe, where he had like a long angle against the Fuse. The Fuse wasn't even looking anywhere in his general direction, and he couldn't really, because he wasn't shooting anywhere near the head. Instead, he was shooting at the body with the T5. in that situation, it was kind of like the same thing, but it wasn't like, oh, he didn't aim for the head, he didn't aim for anything. It was quite literally he whiffed almost every single shot, apart from the ones that mattered, and he did get the down and found a 2K at the end. Now we get to see Sunny Canton going over to the Armory lockers. And I mean, we talked about Wayne State University for like a majority of this matchup as well. And the one thing that's like consistent is the fact that they are very slow when it comes to their beginning round situations. And on a map like Border, that's not really okay. You have to try and take map control early, because if you let the defenders just go willy-nilly all over the map without shutting them down earlier on and claiming the space for yourself and then shutting down flanks, it can get really out of hand, and for the most part, that's what we've seen happen to Wayne State.
Yeah, very true. And Wayne State, I mean, that wasn't the worst round I think we've seen from them. It just was a little bit hard there in the end. I don't think they handled the 2v2 particularly well. I saw a lot of indecision right there, I think would be the defining factor of that last 45 seconds or so, and I think that's kind of what doomed them. Looking over now, they're bringing a Rook out to play, the combination of a Rook and a Ying, interestingly enough. Two shield operators technically in this. Terry Bull Keller playing the Osa, who is a pretty much a discount shield operator if played correctly. And like Capitao in this lineup as well. This is a weird attacking setup, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, the one thing that we did talk about with Wayne State University was like pace and dealing with roamers. They're not dealing with the roamers with the Monty, but you know, at least they're gonna try and find an easier way inside of sight and execute, because that's also another thing they've been struggling with, is trying to get on side of sight and executing despite them getting the bomb down in round number 2. So now this time we see the Monty try and get some intel with his shield, and then it looks like he's now going to plant with the shield on his back. He has a smoke covering him, a good smoke blocking doorway and the rotate hole in between the two sites. And now that the bomb is planted, the attackers have the advantage. They also have the positions, but Sunny Canton, they have the shots.
Attackers have located the bomb.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. That was really well executed, and this is sort of the dream scenario, right? If you're a Rook player, you get in, you get the plant relatively unharassed, there's no nitro cells in the pocket to really damage you, and it's worked out perfectly here for Wayne State. Nobody can step up and take this fight. Nasty, the only one left, detonating the pre-planted nitro, gets nothing off of it. Nasty desperately trying to make this happen, getting into a gunfight and then a punching match here with their Rook, and it'll be Rook who finishes him off. And well, I'll be honest with you, Sugar, that's probably the most effective Rook use I think I've seen in a very, very long time.
It's a shame that it didn't come off. It's a shame. He almost could have gotten up to Kaid, but again, it was just the Monty plays. Really good Monty plays, really good initiation to get inside of the site, and it didn't seem Sunny Canton could have reacted on time. Also, a good smoke to just limit their vision and zone them out from their own site, which is, again, something that Wayne State University struggled to do, is just getting inside a site early, or not even early, but trying to make some sort of space happening. And the Monty afforded them so much space, because you're so afraid to like encounter any amount of space that the Monty is in or around, because you can just play some, because of the mind games that you play with him. And so they just played that to perfection. It was a really nice execution. Also, the backstab from Hollow as well from Armory, just to further confuse the defenders and throw them into further disarray, was cool as well.
Very true, and you'll see now remains tied here as we go into round 5, and I think Canton probably a little frustrated, right? Theoretically, I think they were probably hoping for a better defender side than this. Obviously, they can still finish it off 4-2, but the specter of 3-3 definitely looms large over this match. At the very least, though, they've been able to go back to Armory Archives again. I don't think you're going to see that Rook trick one more time. You're definitely not, because he's not in the lineup, but it wouldn't work even if he was. Sorry, did I say Rook? I meant Montaigne. Rook is actually in the lineup, which is probably what triggered that for the defenders, but IMZTG hasn't gotten a ton of value out of the scoped MP5 yet, so we'll see if this round is their round.
Well, Revexity, again, he's doing the thing.
Always.
He's always just been in I mean, obviously he's in the map because he's a defender, but he's always just been running around and causing a mess for Wayne State University. And it's nice that Wayne State have found some sort of adjustments because it's still early in the matchup, and it seems like for the most part they're catching on to Revexity's game and they're finding a way to shut him down early. But even then, Revexity does have teammates, and Nasty just hit a nasty shot, and that just so happens to be on the Twitch, so that's util clearance, util clear potential for Alfred.
Started off, as many of these rounds have, with a trading of first blows, 4-4 on the board right now. Just how magic there, not stepping out of cover. Nasty does, though, and gets iced by Impressi on the doorway. G36 in hand. First frag grenade over the top. Will there be another to follow it? Not at the moment, but I appreciate Impressi there laying down some rounds over towards the soft cover. Oh, good kill. Look at those trades. Back and forth across the board it goes. Revexity finishing the last one off there as IG swings in and gets I'm ZTG. That leaves a 2-1 here with Revexity, who has played this situation decently before, or something close to it, Sugar. So maybe, just maybe, they can make it happen again.
Yeah, the only way he won this was because you explained it earlier, was the fact that Wayne State University had some indecisions on how they wanted to approach this. Plus, they weren't really working together. They just took the 1v1s and lost them to Revexity. Well, not really 1v1s because Revexity did shoot someone in the back in that round, but even then, regardless of that, still 1v1s. And this time, it seems like Wayne State University are wanting to work more together, executing towards that office site. And now that the smokes come out, it should give Revexity some sort of clue that, hey, look, you know, we are pushing here, but the smokes and the fires are providing some great zoning to just keep them back, force them to reposition. And this is exactly what the Capital wanted because he's expecting it, but he's missing a lot of his shots. Revexity downs him. 35 seconds left on the clock. Again, both players are taking their ones. Revexity low on HP, about to be on one if he keeps continuing to take these gunfights. Again, he's switching up his angle, but clock is ticking down. He has to find a shot. He has to hit it, but he was already screwed from the start. As soon as he crossed that doorway, I don't know if you saw, but the animation with the air jab blows him to smithereens, but it is Nomad to put him down.
Good use of the air jab right there. Shows you why Nomad is quite an effective operator when used correctly. So no chance at a victory there for Revexity, though they certainly made a good effort of it. But we go back to the board one more time on this defensive half for Canton, a round that I would put pretty much in the must-win category for them right now. You see Wayne State here actually showing us some interesting choices. They had a Fuse in their initial lineup, which is an operator that, for the life of me, I don't think will be that valuable here. So we'll see if that'll shift out. Interesting choice to have ZTG come in on the Goyo. Now that's a choice I can get behind, Sugar. That's a good one. Get those Volcans in there. They're huge at delaying things like that. Montane push that we saw, that's not going to happen, hopefully, with the Goyo around, assuming things are placed where they should be, like exactly where he put a Volcan down.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Now we're going back to this cursed site of Warm Real Lockers. To be fair with you, I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this site. I think it's because it's played so much. Because I think it is the best. I think it is. Actually, no, I don't think this is the best site. I think Map Intelligence is the best site. But this site is played so much that a lot of teams know what to do when they play against it, unless you bring out some unique sort of setup with like a lot of stall potential, like an Izami and Castle, for example. But other than that, if you're not bringing any of those operators, or if you're not bringing a lot of stall potential, or if you're not playing the site properly at all, then Armory Lockers can be an impossible site to defend just because of how attacker side of border is and because of how overplayed this site is in general. Now, though, we do get to see the Ash take some space early on, and I mean, this is what we like to see because Wayne State in the early rounds, they were so passive, and now that they're starting to let their wings fly a bit, but then they lose 2 bodies due to that. 3v3, but about 2 minutes 10 to go.
A very aggressive early round posture right there. The Volcon triggered just inside the armory balcony door, and that'll leave Nasty there to hold it off. And Pressy actually has another grenade in the pocket. That'll come sailing in there as well. Goyo Flame's still present, though, so you can't quite move in there yet. Meanwhile, switching over, we'll see just at the metal detector here is Just How Magic, waiting on the hallway, taking a couple of shots right there. Can't find the kill that they're looking for. The CX Storm just not delivering in that context as Impressy wraps their way around the backside. Impressy now changing position once again, still engaged, looking out towards those metal detectors. No real openings here for Wayne State just yet.
Oh yeah, keep this in mind as well. They have no nades. The wall is kited. And I mean, the nades aren't the most important part of this. Oh my god, Revexity. What are you doing? And Impressy probably just had a heart attack. I did too. But even then, they don't have any EMP impacts to get that main wall open, and so they have to readjust their push into the doorways of the site. And so that's why Baka Bill lost his life. I think he wanted to go for that office wall, but now that he's dead, he took that initial gunfight. He should have let the aggression to either the Nomad or the Ayana, more preferably the Ayana, because she doesn't really have anything apart from her clone. But instead, he loses his life. They can't get this wall open, so they have to funnel into the doorways, and all Nasty has to do with the lack of util on the attacker side, apart from 2 stuns, is just watch the doorway. But again, he doesn't even have any lines of sight on the walls in between sites.
He's actually going to fall back.
Nitro Cell.
Oh, you're right. He's got a valid tool. He's got the Nitro Cell in the pocket. It actually comes sailing up right there. Unfortunately, won't secure the kill, and the payoff for that play is nil. As now Nasty has to fight their way back onto the point, walking into a hallway where they're being covered by the gun of the Nomad. A complete rotate here from Nasty. Can't confirm the shots. Won't actually get the Iana down, and this is just getting worse and worse here for the Kaid. Out comes Nasty around the corner, gets one. He's still got to get another one, though, in the form of the Nomad. It's all down to him in this 1v1. The plant is out. 23 seconds left on the clock. IG tucked up in the corner of Armory, just waiting for the opportunity. Nasty steps in, gets hit by the air jab, and another air jab round win for IG. Beautifully done as Wayne State takes it 4-2 on the attack.
Oof. I mean, it's good repositioning there from the Nomad as well at the end. Didn't hide in this expecting corner, instead played behind her air jabs, put one air jab on the door, so just in case Nasty shot it, at least she would have a clue of where he was at in Fountains. And then the second air jab being placed on the doorway separating Fountains from office, so that, you know, once that Oryx does pass through there, he gets what's the saying? He gets Kool-Aid Man. But instead of him actually using his ability to do that, he's getting launched by like a little sticky bomb thing.
Reverse Kool-Aid Man.
Reverse Kool-Aid Man. Yeah, that's perfect. But like, one thing that you can like bring for criticism in that round for Wayne State University is just, I mean, the lack of util clears as well, because for the most part they didn't really have anything to deal with the wall, and even though most of the operators did die as well, they didn't have any operators, most importantly. No Thatcher, no EMP impacts to get rid of the Kaid clause, and that's what they were trying to go for. They were trying to get that main wall open, so they had to reroute their push, and then it just led them right into the waiting arms of Sunny Canton, who at the end there couldn't necessarily hit their shots. And so Wayne State University now switching over to defense, picking this Armory Locker site.
Yeah, I mean, this is a logical place to start off on the defense. I will say maybe one of the criticisms we could level at Canton is they just kept going back to the well on this site, I think, for those last 2 rounds, and it didn't really work out either time, especially when they desperately needed a 3-3. The decision obviously feels like this is the choice you have to make because this is the defensive site on this map, but definitely something to consider. Taking a look at the attacking lineup of Canton, it's pretty straightforward, pretty meta stuff. And already the Gemini getting blasted right there to give them a little bit of intel, and the Claymore's going down as well. Over on the defensive side, it's also quite meta, all things considered. Interesting to see Terry Bullkeller on the Maestro here, who remains a popular choice on the Armory site for a variety of reasons. You can get some pretty good Maestro cam placements here if you really try. Impressy now swinging out into the hallway, and it's a bit of a slow start here for Canton, much like what we saw from some of these Wayne State rounds.
Yeah. The time gets slower, and you see like some of the value of a lot of the defender utility coming out, especially from the cameras and the Azami Kiba barriers. Now, IG gets the first pick onto Magic, and that's the Ayana already falling. So, seems like Sunny Kane are just, you know, at the end of the day, they know that they're taking a lot of time, but, you know, they're still rushing into these 1v1s, taking 2 heads off the bat. Hollow onto Nasty, onto Country Road as well. And Sunny can have a 5v2 lead.
I must admit, the banning of the Jackal is looking more and more pertinent, considering how they really can't seem to handle roamers on either of these sides. Hollow in particular is just absolutely wreaking havoc right now on the Canton attack. Now also with the prospect that TDG, oh my gosh, Lord, I am eating that. But he's the last one left alive, and he has not had a particularly great run here tonight, so I don't necessarily fancy his chances in a 1v4, but you never know. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, and he'll start off by getting the first kill onto the infamous Hollow.
Still has 3 more to find, the Azami being one of them. She's trolling. You see that? Just brings out the Deagle. It's not really playing behind anything at this very moment. Does take off some help off of the Ace, so I mean that's pretty cool. And still gets the shot with the Deagle. I mean, a Deagle does a lot of damage, and even at that health, I wouldn't even expect him to be one tap. But still, nice end of round kill from the Azami and Wayne State College. Well, 5-2 lead, as dominating as can be. And by the way, this is their map pick. If you didn't know that, well, now you know.
Yeah, a good start here for sure from the Wayne State crowd to come charging forth. They got to be happy about this. And unfortunately for Sunny Canton, it is looking like they might be the slightly weaker team in this matchup. But I'm going to be honest with you, Sugar. Border is just such a strange map, really kind of out of the realm of the usual plays, that it might be almost a map-based scenario for why this isn't going so well. That said, Wayne State, speaking of things that are a little bit outside of the usual plays, hell of a lineup they've got together right here for their defensive side. 2 big roaming presences here. You've got Hollow and you've got Impressy. Then you have a Capkin in the mix as well, because why not? And another sort of Terry Bullkeller on the Aruni, and then finally the Jaeger. No real anchor, but really leaning into that dispersed, aggressive gunfight play that seems to be working out pretty well for them.
Yeah, I mean, in the last round, you just saw them swinging and hooting and hollering at Sunny Canton.
You're right.
And they weren't necessarily punished for it. So if they're like you'll see it a lot of times in comp play. If a team is not punished for doing something that's like out of the ordinary or stupid, they're gonna keep doing it. And even though I wouldn't even necessarily say this is stupid, the only thing I say is stupid is the Caveira, because it's for obvious reasons. Caveira doesn't have good guns, and then her special ability or her utility, quote unquote, isn't really good. It's very, very selfish, very, very self-centered. And even then you could say the same thing for Visual, but at least Visual can hide from drones, and he can waste a lot of time with his signal disruptors. Caveira can't necessarily do that. All she can do is silent step. That's it. That's the sentence.
The extent. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you'll see now how this attack gets off to its go-ahead. It's actually Country Road who strikes early, a name that we haven't heard too much, but has put up a respectable 4 kills there, and he'll start off by eliminating IG, who is the second to the top in terms of kills over on the Wayne State side. Oh, ZTG getting on the board there as well, breaking the breadstick with a kill on Baka Bill. Hollow, though, still fighting, and ZTG on the back of doing something good, turns around and kills his teammate. Fortunately, the rest of Canton doesn't seem to be too intimidated by it. They'll come rolling in. And now it turns into an effective 2v3. Revexity is down, but not out, as Impressi and Terry Bull Keller muster together. They'll go ahead and get the revive on Revexity.
Revexity is back to 25 HP, but most importantly, that does make the man count for V2. Both Impressi and Terry Bull Keller now on full HP, or they have been on full HP for the majority of that round. And we just saw Impressi take a nice gunfight. Terry Bull Keller couldn't even get himself into a gunfight. And Sunny Canton take the third round.
Oh, there you go. Round number 9. Canton has to be happy that they managed to get another one up on the board, but they still have a heck of a hill to climb. It was a bit ugly there, too, at times, but a win, I guess, is a win. However you get it. Round 9 on the books, and you'll want to see if Wayne State makes any sort of significant changes here to the defensive lineup. Interesting, still coming out with a Capkin in tow. They must have a soft spot for this operator. Ella, another trapper, getting some work in there too, and then bringing a Pulse along. Okay, I'll bite on that one too, Sugar, because that's not a bad operator for these low ground sites.
And Pulse is really popular though, mainly not really for this site, but mainly like workshop ventilations and armory, locker / office, whatever you want to call that top floor. The only top floor site on the border. So like in the ideal is the same. You just want to play below and try and use your nitro cells to, like, you know, to fruition from with the nitro cells from below through the wooden floors, because destructible, and because if you just landed right below someone, you can just kill them almost instantly. Works every single time in your unranked and ranked lobbies, almost every single time, unless you're in like diamond or above, or plat and above, I mean. But even then, regardless of that, not a bad pick on the side like you mentioned, but we will see some nice little picks coming out here from the attackers. The Osa, second time in a row that we see her being picked for Sunny Canton.
You see Hollow now playing off of the high ground position here, sort of lurking around, waiting to see if anybody is stupid enough to walk into their gun sight. But it's Country Road securing the first kill again. Impressi getting taken out there, and Hollow firing a few shots, but not finding any targets from their murder hole. Seems relatively comfortable up there, though, all things considered. Nobody really trying to threaten the Ella, who will double back into the hallway. It does seem like Wayne State is very focused on a horizontal attack right here, at least in the first minute of play. I say that, though, and Nasty takes out Terry Bull Keller, does so on the horizontal level as well. Oh, Nasty's got another free kill. They don't even know that the Lion's in. He gets a chance there to reload. Baka Bill finally paying attention to where all those bullets are coming from as the flash grenade sails by, doesn't actually contact the target. They're going to need Hollow to rotate back here. Hollow playing for free gets I'm ZTG down, and suddenly it's a 1v4. So Canton has come sailing back into it with two very strong attacking rounds.
You know, one thing that's been working out for them is those early picks turning in to this potential round win. If Hollow doesn't somehow clutch up a 1v4, finds one, finds two! The fuse goes down. Scorpion did get that recoil buff so long ago, so it is somewhat of an accurate weapon, and it does shoot extremely fast, hence the name. Scorpion finds a quad. Hollow surely not. Doesn't. Nasty on the swing from the bathroom doorway finds him, and that is Sunny Canton, my lord, with the fourth round only being one round away from tying it all up with Wayne State.
Oh, hell of a round from Hollow, though. Credit where credit is due right there. Huge fight back. And again, well, I was just going to say it, roamers continuing to be very impactful in all of these rounds here on Border. Simply nobody doing any sort of roam clear whatsoever allows people like Hollow to make those kind of plays. So here we sit. Got to be a little bit frustrating for Wayne State right there, because it looked like they were about to have a glorious comeback moment, and it sort of got snatched from their jaws. But, you know, as much as I credit Hollow, I got to credit Nasty as well, who played that perfectly, really just got in behind his opponents, and they just did not twig where that lion was going. But it's back up to Armory, the Maestro in play. And this is one of those cheeky camera spots I was talking about, by the way. Terry Bull Keller throwing that Maestro cam up there. Such a good position. And allows you to cover the primary bomb site pretty well.
Another thing about that last round too is how well Sunny Canton dealt with that horizontal and the horizontal and the horizontal hold and the extension on the offsite. Like again, that was a situation where we saw Country Road get the first pick in 2 rounds in a row. Same area in Wayne State College, just had no clue that he was going to do that again. It seems like as though Sunny Canton might go for a full push towards those east stairs, unless that's just them getting their position set up. Yes, it is with the Sophia just on that office wall. Drones will go out just to make sure everything is clear, whereas you will see the force come into work in order to help remove some of the power positions that are played in and around the site.
Located by attackers.
Well, taking it in here about 40 seconds into the round. No sudden burst of action, no peaks, no early engages. Just as I say it, though, it'll be Hollow who gets the first kill. Just how magic. The first of the entry fraggers here will be taken out. Meanwhile, I'm ZTG trying to get one of those OSA shields locked in on the entryway of Archives. It's not going to happen just yet, though, as Hollow picks off Nasty. So a little bit of revenge from last round. And now a 5v3 with at least one of the operators very clearly defined here for the defenders to seek out. And Hollow actually changes angles, looks back over towards this window, and surely enough, they've got movement on it. Good step up right there, actually stepping into the position of their drone, which I gotta give them credit. That's some smart thinking.
I don't know, when like Alibi first came out, you saw so many fakes with her clones before, especially because of like because of Macy J. Macy J just started a whole movement with that. Now we see ZCG firing back with the kill on Tobacco Bill. Country Road below trying to make some vertical angles. And also shield coming out, but that's a nice impact to delete the shield so that he can deny the plants. Revexity on, but that's no fault of his as he now falls to IG. And Country Road, who hasn't been anywhere near his teammates, couldn't really find himself a position to support them from, is now left all by himself in a 1v3.
Well, in that 1v3, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. We saw somebody basically pull off a 1v3 last round, just couldn't secure the last one. But Country Road here sneaking their way ahead. That's a weird noise right there. It'll be the Banshee coming out to give him a little bit of a shock and to give away his location. And IG will be the one who finishes off the kill, catching him going into the main corridor up there. So Wayne State pushing themselves forward onto match point.
Yeah, at the end there from Sunny Canton, I mean, you could tell they got a little bit desperate because of the way that they tried to execute onto site. Not really doing enough to like bait out any utility there from Wayne State University, Wayne State College. Like no impacts, no nitro cells. There could have been a high possibility of Wayne State College using nitro cells in that situation, but instead they just kind of like panicked, set the shield up, tried to get a plant down. Couldn't because it got impacted. Revexity, who was on that window for a while, wasn't really watching anything, wasn't really watching across. The explosion happened right in front of his face, so I could understand the confusion just a little bit. But even then, those early kills at the beginning of that round for Sunny Canton really made that round fall apart, because you can tell that when those two players died, they didn't really have a plan for how to deal with Hollow, who was mostly by himself in the office site too. So pretty interesting stuff there. But now Wayne State College going back to back in tellers. And the last time we saw this site, it was that 1v4 almost clutch from Hollow on the same site. So, and you know, Sunny Canton, the one thing that I did like compliment them on was their extent, was the way that they cleared the horizontal hold from Wayne State College earlier on, because Wayne State College weren't necessarily together when it came to that extension neither. So they were able to isolate the picks early, win their gunfights, and win the round after Nasty got, you know, a nice 1v1 clutch against Hollow.
5-5 here at the start of the round. Nothing exciting of note. Oh, Hollow nearly gets caught right there. Worth pointing out, by the way, Hollow 18 kills on, barely avoiding gunfire here, but a very impressive map from the player from Wayne State. Hollow now having to watch multiple directions, actually, as Country Road continues to destroy some default cams and blow some holes in barricades. Unfortunately, won't press the matter, which means that Hollow, if he's lucky, might actually get a free kill from this. Hollow creeping up to that window, which is now partially open. Hollow looks the wrong way, and the bullets go past, and Country Road secures a vital kill. The top fragger of Wayne State dying first in this critical match point round, and then I'm ZTG doubles down and takes Terry Bull Keller down as well.
Yeah, one thing that we said for both teams is their lack of a full clear around the map. Country Road was sent upstairs just to kind of counter that, because he knows that on the round, or on that last round on the same site, that they only had one roamer upstairs, and that was Hollow. So now that they deleted that lone roamer who was by himself on the upstairs, now that they deleted him, all they got to worry about is the horizontal pressure coming in from Wayne State, because they're not gonna go upstairs because they were never upstairs, and in the first place they can't really do anything from up there anyways. But even regardless of that, Country Road, who's planting, Ija finds him. He finds two as well, and it's up to Revexity in the 1v3. He is the sledge. He could have made some vertical angles, but not above this side. It's only above bathroom. He's very unlucky not to be anywhere near the diffuser, anywhere near his teammates. Can't really trade them out, and it is Wayne State University to get, Wayne State College to get one back, and to also win the whole map. And now we go onto Oregon with them being 1-0 up.
Well, there you go. Wayne State coming out on top, but I got to admit it got a little spicy there at the end. Definitely some fights over in the side of Canton, so I don't think necessarily we're at the end of the run. I will say again, Sugar, I do think it's a matter of kind of looking at the map, and maybe when we transition over to something a little bit more familiar, like Oregon, things might go a little bit better for Canton in those clutch situations.
Yeah, again, that was a situation where we saw IG just get got blessed with 2 kills, and Revexity he couldn't really react on time because both of his teammates got destroyed, and he's just in a bad position to do anything. But that is the map for Wayne State College, and also the map for SUNY Canton. But we got 2 more, potentially, if SUNY Canton can win this next map, which is Oregon, and then maybe we'll head on to Clubhouse. But I think we will take a 5-minute break, so we'll be back soon.
For 2 minutes, for 30 seconds maybe. What was it like? Probably bliss. I was signing a mouse pad, which is really cool. I've never done that before. Nobody's ever asked me for a signature, so I'm gonna start blushing. But I'm really excited about that. And then he wants a picture. Can you take a picture of us? I said, "Is it bad?" She went, "No." I'm gonna go ahead and take that as a yes. Turns out I can't tie a tie sitting down. What do you think is the appropriate face-to-screen ratio for a Valorant player?
Face to screen, like how close I sit?
Yeah, like how close should a player sit?
Personally, I play really, really close. I think it depends on your eyesight, but for me, I like playing close because it helps me focus on my crosshair.
Is the value of sitting close, the crosshair being the only thing in your line of sight?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main benefit of it.
It's so funny how close some of these guys sit. Oh my goodness. What do you think is the healthy face-to-screen distance for a Valorant player?
I think it's all kind of personal preference. I guess I would consider myself like pretty close when I play because I like to zone in on my crosshair.
It is the second person to say that. It's all about the crosshair. And then what's up with the horizontal keyboard?
I don't know, like it just kind of fits like the form when I'm close to monitor. Like I don't know, it might sound cringy, but I like to be one with my gun, you know?
No, bro, I feel it. I feel it absolutely. What is going on, everybody? I am here with some UCF fans. How are we feeling about UCF? Let's go! Let's go! We've got a bunch of UCF fans in the crowd right now. UCF, they're up by a single game. They're looking to find their third and possibly final, secure a spot moving forward. Things looking great for them against Northwood here today. This guy's playing Minecraft right now. He keeps double building instead of placing the dirt. Pressure's on, man. Everybody's watching. Just kidding. Just me. Cameraman's not over here. Just kidding. He's behind you. There's actually always cameras on you if I'm around. Do you double build all of those? No excuses, bro.
I can't play Minecraft.
Your college esports Minecraft team absolutely rolled. L after L here. Let's hope UCF has a little better luck on stage, huh? What is going on, everybody? I am Septilins. I have the honor of welcoming you to the Collegiate Esport Commissioners Cup here in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, that was good. That was good. Good content, good content.
My name is Dusty. I'm 24 years old, and this is my first year at Bay State College and first year towards my bachelor's there. But I've been going to college for a few years now, or several years now.
Cool. What are you studying?
Right now, I am studying human resource management in
Nice.
business. Yeah.
Do you like Bay State so far?
Yes. Yeah. It's been pretty good so far. It's only been one quarter, but I like it so far. So
Where are you from?
I'm from SoCal. I'm doing it remotely from Southern California.
So what games do you play? What's your main game?
My main game is Smash Brothers, and that's what I compete in. So Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Okay. What character do you like?
Wii Fit Trainer is my main character.
So how has it been being part of a collegiate team at Bay State? Have you been on a collegiate team before?
I've been on teams before. I don't know if I've been on a collegiate team before. I think this is my first collegiate team, but it is really nice, and the teammates are really supportive, and I've met some cool people, so that's nice. But I definitely do have experience like with teams, so it's nothing like super new, but it's always good to be in a team, have that support.
A fresh team. Yeah, that's cool. So how long have you been playing Smash?
I've been playing Smash for about like 7-ish years now. Well, I've kind of played it since I was like really young, but like competitively, I've played it like 7 years. I played since the release of Smash 4, which was the previous Smash game, and now I've played into Ultimate, so quite a while.
What has been your proudest moment since playing Smash?
That's hard to say because I've honestly had a lot of good moments. It's just I feel like every other week or every other month I have a new moment where I'm like, wow, that's the best I've ever played, which feels good and makes it, I keep going for stuff like that. But every time I play a tournament set and it feels really good and I feel like I'm playing the best I've ever played, probably each of those consecutive moments. I just had a tournament a couple weekends ago in Las Vegas where I placed 9th out of nearly 400, I think, and I think that was one of the best I've ever played. And that felt really good, so that was a really big accomplishment for me.
So you would definitely say over the past 7 years, you said that you've grown a lot in the game?
Yeah, I think I've grown a lot in the game, and I think I've also grown a lot just as a person too. Just like competition in general, there's a lot of learning, and there's a lot of ways to approach it. I've learned how to teach other people as well, because I do coaching as well, stuff like that. So I've learned a lot through Smash. Yeah.
How long have you been doing the coaching part?
Coaching, I've been doing maybe a year and a half-ish, maybe almost 2 years. I'm actually not sure on the number. I think a year-ish, year and a half is probably closer to the right one. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun too. It's really interesting because it gives you a different perspective on the game, and not only are you helping other people, but you kind of help yourself in a way too, because you can kind of see things from a different perspective, so.
How would you describe yourself? Do you like competing more or playing for fun or?
I'm definitely more of a competitor. Ever since I was young, like I remember playing like board games with like friends or something. I think I was waiting for them to play, and I think some of them were playing like just like house rules or whatever, and I was like really, really young, and it like made me upset. I'm like, you guys aren't playing it the right way or whatever. But like I've always been a competitor, but at the same time, like you have to have fun, because if you're only a competitor and you're only competing and it's all seriousness, like it's there's like a limit to that. So like you have to have fun. So Definitely both, but I definitely lean towards the competitive sides of things. I like optimizing things and seeing the best thing you can do, because it all started out with like uh it all started out with it just being fun. Because when I was younger, I played different games, and I originally just played them for fun, and I played them all the time. But I played them so often, and I got so good at them to the point where uh, it just started to naturally lean into the competitive side of things. And I was so good to the point where I was like, oh, okay, what can I do to make myself like better, and how can I see this as like something I can improve at? So it kind of made like a transition a little bit, but so it's both.
If you were to give someone advice who may be looking into joining an esports team, but they're kind of on the fence, what would you tell them?
My advice would be to really like think over what they're looking for, like in not only in the collegiate esports team but in school as well, and like see like exactly does this line up with what they really want, and just to figure out what they really want, and if it's going to be a good decision, from like a scholarly standpoint and from like a financial standpoint, because there's a lot of things to consider. Like I thought it over a lot before I realized, okay, yes, this is a really good decision, I should go for this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ECAC here, week 5 of Rainbow Six Siege competition. It's Wayne State versus Canton here tonight. Border going the way of Wayne State, but we're on to Oregon now. I'm Corbeck. Suga is alongside of me, and what do you think we're going to see here as we plow ahead into this Oregon map?
Hopefully not the same things we see on Border, because that was a very chaotic match of Border. A lot of the rounds where we saw both teams play, especially on their attacks, they weren't necessarily doing full clears. On Oregon, that has to change. Especially, well, depending on what sites you play, you will have to do a full clear. Most definitely on the basement, at least. So hopefully we will see some more of that. I think compared to Border, especially when you look at Oregon as a map, we will see like more default things just because of the type of map that Border is. And then keep in mind, Border's been in a map pool since the beginning of Siege. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the classic maps, one of the maps that a lot of people would say is actually kind of overplayed, but it always provides a bit of an interesting time. Like you said, a lot of positions pretty set, and hopefully we'll be jumping into it here soon so we can see what these teams can make of it. But even more so than Border, we will get back, I think, Suga, to that roaming problem, where over on Border, it was really roam city, right? Everybody who was out in the sticks coming back in was just hugely advantaged in terms of the kind of kills they could get. Nobody really checking for it. We did have the Jackal ban in the ban phase last time, which I think kind of precipitated a lot of that action. And I don't necessarily know if we'll see one again, just based on how the previous round went.
Yeah. I think Oregon is the type of map where you could ban Jackal, especially if you're looking to have the type of impact on the roam that you think you can. Maverick is going to be the first one out. I haven't seen a Maverick ban in Oregon in forever, but I'm not too surprised to see it here today, especially if Kaid ends up passing through the ban phase like we did last time. There goes that Jackal ban. Maverick would be the only one to counter him. So I would expect Wayne State University to at least ban that out. But even then, if they do ban out the Kaid, or even if they don't, Thatcher's still on the board because they've banned Jackal and Maverick instead.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And Maverick actually getting taken off the board on Oregon is a development of note, because there are a couple of sites, especially thinking of second floor dorms, where Maverick is kind of important. This does leave other sort of operators, obviously, in the hard reach category, but none of them are particularly capable of delivering the grenades as well that Maverick is able to bring. Worth pointing out there too, Kaid gets banned out, but Thatcher does not get banned. So that will leave Thatcher on the board. It will reduce defenders who really want to secure the walls here against a Thatcher. They'll be forced to do bandit tricking. And it doesn't even look, actually, going up to dorms, it doesn't appear that Wayne State, or I should say Canton, is even going to enter into that kind of competition. They are running a hard breach denial-less lineup.
Yeah, I mean, the last map on Border, even though, because I believe the bans were not the same. I have to take a look. But Yeah, even though like Kaid was on the board, he wasn't banned on border. We didn't get to see Kaid a lot, especially not from Sunny Canton on their defenses. We got to see it from Wayne State College on their defenses, and it was quite disruptive to what Sunny Canton wanted to do in a couple of situations. So, I mean, I'm not too surprised to see Sunny Canton not running it. They are running a lot of like operators that can waste a lot of time, such as the Goyo, such as the Capkin, because with the Capkin you're stuck checking your doors. With the Goyo, those canisters, the Vulcan canisters, which you can now place on walls. That happened a long time ago if you haven't been updated on Siege. But also a big change that came to those Vulcan canisters a long time ago was not only the fact that you can place them on the walls or on the floors, but also the fact that they last 20 goddamn seconds. So I mean, yeah.
There you go. Hollow coming up hard on the steps as the Ash gets wasted immediately by Country Road, who just sort of leans around the corner and lays down the law there with the DMR. And that's a bad start for Wayne State, getting worse as IG gets vaporized in the doorway by a Capkin trap. And well, we don't see Capkin traps hit an awful lot, but when they hit in pairs like that, they do tend to kill. And that now just leaves 3 attackers on the board. They haven't even managed to get into the closet yet, but they will actually manage to get a fuse charge out, aiming downwards, though. It annihilates absolutely no one, and the second one coming in here as well annihilates absolutely no one either. Well, that's a bit disappointing there from the fuse charges. I was kind of hoping we'd see something a little bit more. Baka Bill here pushing forward, but it's Impressy who goes down. Terry Bull Keller quick to trade that one back, and then it's a 1v4, a scenario we have seen many times before tonight.
Yep. And the diffuser is in control of the defenders. You saw Country Road just above it, pinging it, letting his teammates know that, hey guys, the diffuser is on me. It's now up to Terry Bull Keller, but he has a tall task ahead of him, as again, most of his teammates died before they even got a chance to really use their utility properly. I mean, the Fuse at least got to put his hard breach gadgets, or the can openers, as a lot of people would call them, onto the walls, but that's for naught, because without the proper amount of bodies, without the proper amount of controls, you can't do jack diddly squat. Even though Sunny Canton, they didn't run any type of denial. They opened up the attic wall as well. There was no pressure from Wayne State on Big Tower. The one thing that won them the round was just early aggression that wasn't expected by Wayne State University. They seemed to be taken off guard. They lost their early gunfights, and thus they lost a lot of important operators early on. Most importantly, the Nook that was banned in the last map, and the Ash as well. And also, just to talk about the ban phase just a little while longer, Nook is left unbanned on this map, but she was banned on Oregon, which is crazy. I mean, then she was banned on border, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, she feels like a much more impactful operator on this Oregon map, though we certainly didn't see it round 1. I mean, the fact still stands. This is a much better map for her particular brand of mischief. So we'll see if they manage to get any plays off of it. I say that, though, Wayne State not even diving back into the pool of Nook for this basement site. They're coming instead with a Nomad, a Flores, who is another operator who actually gets banned an awful lot here on this Oregon map, who's in the wild. Good little combo they've got right there. Finka still running an LMG, which is an interesting choice from Hollow. We don't see that often. And I will point out, on the side of Canton, they have nothing in terms of drone defense. No Mozzie, no Mute, nothing like that. So really, the Roteros here from Terry Bull Keller should have free reign to be as damaging as possible on this particular site. Oh, way too wide of a swing there from Nasty. Bit off far more than he can chew.
Yeah, that's not ideal. And now we see the smoke fall early on. So I mean, he didn't even get a chance to use his util on the smoke. And keep in mind that when the boosts from the stems are used from the Finka, if she ingests that smoke, she ingests it a lot faster, thus losing health a lot faster when she uses those smokes. And guess what? Now that Elbow is in the control of the attackers, the defense can't reinforce this back up, so they are forced to take gunfights in order to fight for control back. They tried to somehow ZTG wins that against Hollow, retakes the elbow position, finds a second big 2K from him, tripling around for the Goyo as we end up in a 2v2.
That's a bit of a mess, honestly. It all kind of started with that very ugly play from Wayne State, and it's kind of just getting worse for them. It is a 2v2, now a 2v1. Just how Magic, the last operator left, could actually get a freebie kill here as the... Oh, unfortunately, the alibi swung out just half a second too late. Now their position is very obvious. They only have a few options for how they can really fight their way back into this. They do have 2 impact grenades, though. They might be able to use those, and they will actually knock the Nomad, so they'll turn it into a 1v1. Terry Bull Keller here with the AR-33 versus the CX Storm of Just How Magic. Just How Magic creeping up to the wall line, looking maybe to finish off their victim. Can't quite get it. Not as if Terry Bull Keller is in a position to get the res, and that'll start the defuse timer as well.
Well, he's stuck between a rock and a hard spot. I mean, it is a 1v1, so this is very possible. Both players are on full HP. He knows that one of them is down due to the blood trails. Is going to try and make his own rotation. Maybe can turn this into a bit of bait, especially if the head of the attacker turns, but Keller is keeping his discipline. Also has a, no, sorry, I thought that was a mirror window, but mirror is banned. It was just the way that the wall was formed. The air jab gives away the position of Just How Magic, but he doesn't keep his gun up despite getting enough time to get up. Even though the air jab was used, and even though it did activate, Flores didn't swing off of that immediately, so it gave the alibi more time to actually get back up on her feet. And then when he did, he didn't even have his gun up, even though he was like trying to, I guess, quick peek that just so he can figure out the exact position. But even then, he exposed himself a little bit too much, and it's Wayne State College to tie up the game.
It was just a unpleasant time all around right there for this Wayne State side. I mean, I'll go back to that very first play where a big overextension by Smoke made the elbow untenable. Just not the kind of stuff that you want to see. And in all honesty, Wayne State probably lucky that didn't go worse in terms of they at least managed to boil it down to a 1v1. Looking ahead now to this round, the defenders have actually forsaken the shield on the angle. Again, a really interesting defensive choice here. They do have Country Road still with the ADSs. They are still leaving the elbow open, but they're putting 1 Volcan canister there, and that's it. So that is an interesting defensive setup. I do not know what to make of that, Sugar. I really don't.
I don't know what to make of the defense neither. Not only that, but also how far off site they are. And then you look at Wayne State's college's lineup, and it's so execution heavy. You look at the not the Nook, but you look at the Blitz. You look at the Flores. You look at the Sens. You could even say that Sledge could be even a part of the execution phase, just because of his nades and because he can like force defenders back with those nades, and he has a good gun to hold long angles. But even then, Sunny can. They have a wide roam, is what is as nasty. He finds himself into small tower, not a good position for any defender to be in, but Hollow finds the first pick. And now we see the execution come into full force as Wayne State, they find themselves inside of sight.
Well, that's funny. Pacaville coming in. They've got a Sens here as well. What an interesting selection of attacking operators they're showing, all allowing them to do some serious magic right here, and it's working out very well. The Sens actually coming in huge right there, allowing Terry Bull Killer to pick one, gets another one as well. It's everybody dead except for Just How Magic, who swings out, gets IG, and here comes the Blitz to finish it off. Just How Magic battered down. And let me just illustrate, by the way, that is the danger of leaving that elbow open with no shield and no real defender there. That's why you don't do that, because something, well, basically just like that can happen.
Yeah, it was a curious setup. I don't think nobody is going to question. Oh, they might question Sunny Canton, but they're not going to question us when they're not going to question me when I say that. That was a questionable setup from Sunny Canton. They got exploited by Wayne State College. No real elbow hood, and again, if you don't want to hold onto elbow, you got to close it off. You got to close it off, because once the attackers, unless you have somebody actively on that freezer doorway watching it so that they can activate the Goyo canister, which I didn't see anybody near. Unless you have that locked down, then you don't really have any use for elbow, especially if you don't want to hold on to it as heavily. The smoke in the last round on the basement site where, you know, we saw Nasty just run out, he could have been used for insight, especially if you don't want to hold on to elbow. And Sunny Canton, again, that's a position that got exposed. The attackers took control of it, and they completely tore your defense apart. And on top of that, no site presence neither. Only had about maybe 1 to 2 players on site, and gave Wayne State College free reign all over it. And it's the second round in a row that we see, second round in a row that we see Wayne State University or Wayne State College, and it comes on the same side of basement. And that's why we see Sunny Canton with the site change.
Indeed. Well, back we go for round number 4 here. Wayne State doing well on its attack, but not so well as to not have some serious challenges in mind. Hollow breaching the armory early on. For a reminder of those of you who were watching last map or are just tuning in, Hollow was the kill leader for Wayne State by a pretty significant margin. Looks like they're trying to work up to again. How is that not a headshot? Well, it might just be Just How Magic somehow avoiding that is the answer to the question. Impressy now swinging up into Armory as well as the contingent of Wayne State forces in this area grows ever stronger. They will finally take down the default cam as well. And another launch there to continue to pave the way, but they're not watching the stairs. Impressy walks up and finishes one off, and then will get killed in turn. Hollow on the wide rotate. And now Terry Bullkeller getting in on the action as well.
That kill on the flank player just opened up so many possibilities here for Wayne State College. But Hollow, I mean, just as you praised them earlier on, I think there is some criticism to be had because he's the only player to push inside of sight with no real backup, and he dies to a nitro. So now we see a 3v2 in favor of Wayne State, but they have 2 players on either side of them, and this could be easily clutchable. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why, because if they're able to take their 1v1s and win them, well, Wayne State College would be stuck in the rock between a hard spot, but that's a crucial one to win. Revexity's still on the flank. This has to be communicated. They have to know about this. And he also can't quite get the plant down, can't quite move, isn't quite shooting neither. I think that was just a little bit of a lag spike as Revexity does the drop shot on him. Now we see IG and Revexity in a 1v1.
Yeah, and IG actually doesn't have the bomb here, though. There is that Claymore across the door. Whoa, no, wrong decision. Steps forward just a little too far, does the Oryx, and gets caught by some fire. They didn't even notice, and it looks like lag is becoming a serious issue here. Hollow, the one who brings it up, so I don't know if we're cruising for a rehost or not, but I don't know if we can blame that one on Revexity lagging or Revexity not just realizing exactly how far that Volcon's fire spreads, but in either case, it did not work out in Revexity's favor. Wayne State up now 3 rounds on the attack. Again, the defense for SUNY or for Canton not looking particularly hot here. They really haven't got the kind of rounds that they wanted. Their defense of the core bomb sites has been, I'd argue, kind of subpar at best. And their roam game, I don't actually think has had a huge impact, kind of like it did over on border either. I mean, Revexity getting back in the swing of things a little bit right there, but if you look at those 2 basement runs, Sugar, really nothing coming off the roam.
Yeah, I mean, in those 2 basement rounds, or at least in the second basement round, Sunny Canton invested so much into the roam, they barely had anybody on site. They expected Wayne State to encounter them on the roam, and they expected to take head-on gunfights with them. But with the lineup that Wayne State University or Wayne State College had, it wasn't meant to be. They had the blitz, they had the sins. Of course, they weren't gonna go and encounter the roam game if there wasn't no site presence. Instead, they were gonna execute onto site. In that situation, we just saw the roam shut down almost immediately. They did grab the Amaro, they did grab the first pick. But the Amaro is hardly a very important operator on the site unless you look to execute on to the west side of the map with the Ying combined with the Amaro. But we didn't see that. So it's irrelevant at this point. I mean, again, the roam not really working out. Wayne State, well, they find the lead through Hollow, who grabs 2. but he oversteps his boundaries. And it's a quick trade from ZZG, but the damage has already been done.
The attackers bombed it.
Well, it's ugly, ugly, ugly all around right there, but that may have been the ugliest moment. ZTG managed to slip inside the turn radius of the aim right there for the Wayne State attacker. Gets the kill, and Pressy, the last one left alive here. The default cam only now going down. Cooks a frag and throws it back down the stairs, and instead it's Nasty with a nasty nitro cell from below right there to finish it off.
Well, Sunny Can, they found a round back. The worst they can do is have a 4-2 half. And going on to the attacker side on the attack side of Oregon is not ideal to be down by a deficit of 4-2, especially with how the defender side of Oregon is. Yes, it is a pretty default map in the competitive pool, but teams still struggle to attack on this map. They really do struggle to attack on this map, I'm gonna be honest with you. So you'll see a lot of the times that offense, or even you'll see some teams when they pick the attacker half, they'll try and get an advantage or maybe get a 3-3 half, and then you'll see them quickly pick it up on defense, because that's how the defender side of Oregon is. Now, we see Sunny Ken going back to the basement side for the last round before the halftime switch. And, I mean, they're already changing some things up. Most importantly, the one thing that we complained about the most was that elbow position. It seems like now they're going to reinforce that off. Place a mute jammer there. They don't want really anything to do with an elbow hold, so they're not going to leave that spot open and up for grabs so as easily as they did in the previous 2 basement rounds.
Indeed. They really have not had a good record down here on the basement, and that's something that I think I'd love to see Canton improve on right here. Already, though, I think they've made some choices that I find a little suspect. This time, at least, they're not getting hard rushed by the side of Wayne State, so they'll have a little bit of time to sort of play around. Hollow posting up here on the OSA basically just seems to be trying to be a nuisance, perhaps throwing down some suppressing fire. And Pressy does get the Gemini running in there to maybe give them some intel, but I don't think it got much before it got taken out. They've also made an effort this time to completely deny the elbow. They're just not even defending it. It doesn't look like the members here of Wayne State are particularly interested in playing into it. I say that, though, and they did actually move the ace over to there, so they might get the breach directly onto storage, and that's going to make things a lot more difficult here for Canton because, well, it's going to cut the site in half. Unfortunately, this mute jammer is doing a very good job of staving them off, and there's not really a way to get around it.
Yeah. Now they're going to need to use the last EMP impact in order to make it so that this wall is easy to get. But with the EMP impacts, you have to be as accurate as possible. Speaking of as accurate as possible, Revexity finds the first pick, and that's on to Keller. A huge pick onto the Flores, but I mean, he's only really big when it comes to getting control of elbow, which they already have control of anyways. But he's mainly very crucial in, like, well, not really anything, actually, because there's not a lot of shields to be played here. So I guess, no, never mind.
Well, the push starting to come in now straight down the gut over to column or pillar as you have it. And Hollow now playing that very aggressive position. It's Iana, though, who gets pegged coming in. Only a little bit of damage for both of them, though, and Pressy's still very much alive and still very deadly. And it's the indomitable Revexity who is trying to slow this down. Some shots coming in right there. ZTG, the one to take the initial blast. The Volcon detonated. That's going to slow Baka Bill's progress down significantly. Got to wait for the fire to clear before the A's can get in there and get the plant down, but things aren't going well for Canton around the outside edges of this. Hollow finally brought down, but 2 very low health operators make it 1 here left on the deck for Canton in this 4v1. Technically a 3v1, never mind, the res is up. Hollow will be taken down. Just how Magic trying to stage a heroic last stand here. Doubles back and looks the opposite direction towards Laundry. Doesn't hold the angle enough. And there's the kill from Wayne State, who have a very good attacking half here on Oregon.
Oof. Curious flank there from IG at the end, but it works out nonetheless. and Wayne State take the lead when it comes to the defensive, or when it comes to their switch onto the defense. Now we see both teams' primary site choice being that kid's dorm, and it was the most successful site for Sunny Canton, albeit it was the only one of two sites that they did try, because they didn't try the first floor, they didn't try kitchen meeting, they didn't try kitchen dining. And of course, you don't necessarily have to on Oregon, but you know, kitchen meeting is probably the most popular out of those two, and you will see a lot of teams in competitive play it. But we won't see it, well, at this very moment. Wayne State, we'll get to see that Echo in play, something that we didn't get to see a lot from Sunny Canton, but also we'll see the Doc as well.
Well, unfortunately, the bad news here for Canton is that I would argue, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, Sugar, but I would argue that the attack is usually the harder side here on Oregon, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
So the bad news for Canton is that they're gonna have to sort of ice skate uphill in order to even this back up. And I'll be honest with you, despite the scoreline being slightly different, it feels eerily similar to what we saw on Border as well, which is sort of a subpar attacking defensive half from Canton turning into a very difficult defending half, or I should say attacking half from Canton as well. You say that, just how Magic, though, managing to get a kill early on before vaulting up. Who was it that got taken out? It was Hollow, the Doc, who's honestly not somebody you want to lose at that early stage. Just going to go out on a limb here and also point out it was a very relatively robe, or I should say anchor-heavy sighting here for Wayne State. They have a Echo, they have a Smoke, and they had a Doc, who are all traditionally operators who are quite heavily armored and a little bit slow, who play closer to home. Baka Bill there putting up another kill on the board on that Smoke.
That's big. That's a huge pick because...
It is.
Yeah, that's a huge pick because that's the only hard breacher on Sunny Canton's side, forcing them to really interact with these doorways. I don't really know how the hell Country Road died without even getting a chance to use his util, because that's the whole point of what Magic was doing below. He was trying to nade so that he could get the mute jammers off of the goddamn wall, and your ace just falls. But Wayne State University, they still have that man advantage. They make it even worse. Magic falls, having only one nade in the pocket, now won't be able to use it. And Sunny Canton, well, this attack, as soon as Country Road fell, is starting to fall apart for them.
Well, they had a bit of a exciting start, but it has definitely hit some significant road bumps here. The Twitch drone is in on the bomb site, so perhaps there's some value to be had right there. And they'll actually use the taser to down someone. Wait, oh no, they just went prone. I got so confused. I was like, I don't think you can do that. No, it was just a good move by Impressi there to go ahead and finish it off. Yeah, it used to, you're right. And this heavy armor lineup appears to be paying dividends right now for Wayne State, because none of the members of Canton can really establish themselves in any decent attacking position. Revexity playing off the games room window is a lost cause for sure, which is why they're going to go enter. Meanwhile, on the big window, IMCTG cannot get an Osa shield down, is just being prevented from really doing much in this position, and now playing a risky game with peaks up here.
Yeah, the only way Sunny Canton will win this is just by rushing in through the doorways and winning every single one of their 1v1s. But I don't see the focus from Wayne State College falling at the seams. I hope I didn't jinx it. Revexity finds two as he rushes into Attic, but there goes the corner hiding Snake in IG. Nobody watching the big window, but it doesn't matter because the Osa didn't even attempt to plant. Does take out the Echo drone at the end there, but as you guys saw on the UI, the round had already ended before the Echo could even get a sonic blast off. And now Wayne State College, they take a convincing 5-2 lead, just like how they did on Oregon.
Yeah, they just need to finish it off, right? That's all they need to do. Just walk this one in. And hopefully they can achieve that. They're playing down in Laundry. They've got, I would say, a semi-stereotypical defense set up for it. The addition of the Doc and the addition of the Legion, a little bit out of pocket, but not so bad to say that it really is a poor choice. In fact, Impressi's Volcons down here might actually be pretty useful. They are, by the way, going to take the defensive position on the elbow. They're not going to sacrifice that. They'll set Baka Bill, I assume, up in that spot. Interesting, though, for the sake of bringing the Doc and the Legion, they have actually forsaken the Church of Jaeger. They have no projectile denial here. So if one of the only frag operator on the side of Canton can get in here and actually use those frags, they might be able to clear off this elbow position with very little difficulty, but we'll see how Canton wants to approach it.
I'm loving, you know what, whenever, this is the only reason why I like watching Oregon sometimes is because I get to see Goyo a lot. Goyo's very, very popular on this map, especially on basement and kids. Because you can place his smoking canisters on walls now. You've been able to do that for a couple seasons, but you can place them on walls, you can place them on the floors, and so it creates some very creative Vulcan canister placements. I just want to get that out there because I love Goya. I have an immense amount of respect for him. But anyways, enough about my infatuation with the Mexican operator. We are getting into this round, and it seems like SUNY Canton, they're making their way inside the map, or they have already done that. Hollow being very aggressive early on to get shut down, but Revexity gets traded back out. So the man count is even for now.
Well, here we go. IG trying to get up the stairs, just holding out. It's not gone particularly well for Canton, and this may not be a surprise. Baka Bill is actually pushed all the way up off the shield now. No fear Cavalier right there. He will peel back, though, the minute a flash grenade comes in. Just how Magic trying to make some magic happen. Clear out the roamer on the top floor, pulls off the ADS at the wrong moment, and IG secures the kill. So IG, the roamer, has just collected the various skulls here of Wayne State University, and Broccoli, or actually Baka Bill, I don't know why I called him Broccoli. I saw the B. Comes swinging out of bunker. Okay, maybe a little bit ambitious right there. I'm not going to lie. He tried to swing into his smoke, and he got smoked for his troubles. Meanwhile, I'm CTG just is going to sit here looking, waiting to see if anybody is brave enough to attempt the same maneuver.
Another interesting thing to note, in the past 2 rounds, Hollow has been the opening kill on the roaming Doc. And again, you mentioned it in that last round when he first died. You don't want to lose that Doc because of the overheal potential that he now has. He's not a meme no more, so you can pick him. ZTG sneaking around the corner finds that kill into Terrible Killer, but they haven't cleared Harry Potter, so they have to know that somebody is potentially here. Backs off of that gunfight, does and proceed, takes out the Nitro Soul at the wrong time, and ZTG catches him sleeping. And now it's in a 1v1 between IG, ZTG, and Nasty. Has the diffuser in his ZTG, those legions coming out in order to delay time and also give him extra intel. Finds that kill into Nasty, though, makes this a 1v1 hiding behind the corner. And it's just an easy end of the round kill to put Wayne State College on match map serious point.
Well, there you go. Match point, series point, Wayne State having it all their way here against Canton, who just have not been able to hit their rhythm in this particular context. And nothing, I feel a bit bad for them, to be honest, because nothing Canton seems to be doing right now is working. And you do get to a point, I think, certain times where it just feels like you're trying to throw stuff up at a wall and see what sticks. And you get the feeling that maybe Canton has sort of reached that stage and Wayne State is just feasting off of it. I do think that Wayne State has done pretty well, though, on this map in general. They've looked coordinated. Their defensive setups have been mostly solid, not making a lot of the same mistakes that sort of plagued Canton on their defensive side, which is really, I think, the big difference maker here as they go down to kitchen and meeting.
And this is where the Osa pick kind of gets most of her value. Of course, you can make good use out of the OSA on the basement site and also the second floor site in particular, especially on the second floor when it comes to like big window holds or even holding down attic if you decide to go for an attic master bedroom split push on kids. But on this site in particular, where she finds her bread and butter, as we do get to see 6 nitro cells, interesting. Where she finds her bread and butter is on those meeting attacks. I mean, again, we see Sunny can find the first pick, and it is onto Hollow, who's playing on the smoke. So Wayne State College, they're not really giving Sunny K in that respect, but not only that, they're getting very aggressive early on. It doesn't pay off, but at least they're able to find a quick trade.
Came out with the pistol to make that happen.
That's crazy.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Talk about not giving your opponent respect. That's a whole nother level of disrespect. But Nasty here, once some vengeance kills, is creeping up ever so slowly on the Nook. And you've got coverage on the top deck as well as actually a couple of murder holes to be opened up right here by the Oryx to look down from that attic position. Again, though, we've seen this kind of bit of play before where nobody really bothers to clear out people who are in positions like what Impresi is in right now. Nasty maybe could do it, but I don't think they have a lot of tools to actually make it happen. Impresi just sort of settling in, goes prone and starts to look through the drone hole, pulls out the pistol here and goes for a couple of feet shots. Won't connect. So things going at a bit of a slow pace as ZTG goes ahead and gets the claw shield down and gives them another angle through which they can fire in. Just how Magic now starting the drones in, and this is something they probably should have done a little bit earlier. Also playing games with the drones. I don't know if that's a effective use of time, all things considered.
I don't think the attackers play with the drone. It's just actually I don't.
I don't know why they just didn't die. Anyway, speaking of dying, there's one for you.
Why didn't he just die? Anyways, now 4v3 health advantage is in favor of Wayne State, especially when you consider ZTG's 1 HP or damn near 1 HP. Impresi is inside of sight with the players still in attic. So the one thing that we talk about is the lack of roam clear for either one of these teams. But when you can find the kills on site, that doesn't necessarily matter. And Revexity on the late rotate finds the last kill into the player in attic. So that round just flipped on its head. The first kill going in favor of Sunny Canton, and at least they find a round back. Maybe this can be something for them to work off of. And I mean, they didn't go for your basic big tower push. Instead, they went from like lobby. They waited for picks. They waited for Wayne State College to make mistakes on their own. And Wayne State College, with how aggressive they've been, and with how they've been running around the map, they were gonna bound to find themselves out of position. And so that's what we saw there in that round.
The one problem, of course, is now that Wayne State, that was the tertiary bomb site, right? That is the last bomb site you want to play. Yeah. So what do you pick at the end? You've gone back up to bomb site numero uno now, which is, I mean, it's a good eternal argument between basement and dorms, but it does seem like dorms is winning these days as primary bomb site. And so we are up to dorms once again, and that is going to put the onus entirely on Canton to try and salvage yet another round. And oh boy, based on how it went last time they were upstairs, I just do not know that they have enough gas in the tank to really make this one stick. I mean, I hope that they do. I want to see them battle back. It was, a bit close last time on border, and it's possible that Canton can get up there again, but that's not a good start. ZTG getting taken down. That'll be the OSA out of action, and Hollow actually looked like they were going to wait in the master bedroom for a second there to see if they could do another little trick like that.
Well, Hollow doesn't die within the first opening 30 seconds, so there goes a positive there from Wayne State College. But even then, when he does fall, it doesn't matter to the win rate of Wayne State College, because even when he does fall early, they've had a no they didn't. That's probably like a 75% win rate when you take into account the last round where he died, and then they did lose on the meeting. But now We do get to see some drones. The Twitch drone just missing on its mark. He's still being droned out under the sheets of the dirty mattress right in front of Paulo, who gets to escape with his life. Nobody holding the doorway and watching for that run out. And nobody really acting on the information that is given to them. They don't want to give these early gunfights to Wayne State College. And I mean, that could spell something like maybe they're afraid to take these early gunfights. But even then, Hall is not afraid. But, you know, that overzealousness turns into him dying early. ZCG does fall second. But even regardless of that, it is, well, now a minute advantage in Wayne State College's favor.
1 minute, 30 seconds left on the clock. Terry Bull Keller holding the long angle out of Attic. A dangerous angle, but one that can be quite effective. Frag grenade through the floor, though. Catches IG completely unprepared. Not enough magnets in the world to prepare and protect you from that kind of attack. Now the rotate coming over right here. The alibi. Tricky little bit of play from Impresi right there. Unfortunately, they can't confirm the kill. He just genuinely could not get up fast enough from the prone position to get in and strike when needed. Impresi now losing health, back into the gunfight with Nasty, will win, keeps the man advantage, 3-2 here, less than a minute left on the clock. Terry Bull Keller lighting up from this attic position, will not be shifted as a relatively one-dimensional push starts to evolve here for Canton in these last few minutes.
Whew. Didn't bring no hard breacher neither. And Kids is a very hard site to push, even if you do hard breach. But if you don't have any hard breach, it makes it even harder. Because you're stuck rushing into windows, you're stuck rushing into doorways, you're stuck rushing into crossfires, and you have to make every shot count. Speaking of making every shot count, Country Road finally does find Empressy, who has been a menace so far. Well, at least in this round, not in the whole entire game, because he is 3-7. But still, regardless of that, was very, very menacing on the alibi. But even though he finds that kill, it is just a silver lining in a dark spot. He gets aggressed on. I don't know about that from Baka Ball, but it does buy his teammate enough time to hide. At least he's not the one to swing with him, and he saves his life in order to save the round, in order to save the game for Wayne State College.
That was exactly what the play was, too. Yeah. He threw his body at the doorway, right, to act as a block. You got to give credit where credit is due right there. It's putting his life on the line. It doesn't care about the score line. KD, it means nothing to the overall victory of the Wayne State team. And an overall victory is what we have right there. And, well, we're not quite done on the broadcast yet. We hope you enjoyed the matches, but we're actually going to be doing an interview with one of the victorious Wayne State College players. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with that right after this break.
Should be considered, and also like the time frame as well, because if you commit yourself to a collegiate team, it could potentially be a long time, you know. So just consider it and think through like all your options, and don't ever make a decision just off like an emotional reaction or anything like that. Just like, you know, think it through, I guess.
So for you personally, how many hours do you think you game a week?
That's a good question. It's actually way less than it used to be, but before I would be putting in probably several hours a day into Smash. About a year ago, I was like really, really grinding it and put a lot of effort into it. But lately, like my priorities have shifted just a little bit. Just because there's other things I need to focus on. Like I started working again recently and stuff like that. So it's taken a little bit of a backseat, but it's always something I focus on. So like, even though I'm not necessarily playing all the time right now, I still try to get at least 30 to 60 minutes in a day, but I've been really busy lately, so it hasn't been looking like that lately. But if I'm not doing that, then there's still other stuff that kind of goes into it. Like I do a lot of research on mentality stuff and like stuff like meditation and stuff. So if I'm not gaming or whatever, there's still other things that I feel like is going towards my improvement at the game.
Could you expand a little bit on like meditating and how that helps you?
Yeah. So with a game like Smash, it can be like really volatile, and one of the reasons why I pursued Smash is because, well, I've always liked it since a young age, but also it's always been like really challenging. Like Smash 4 came out, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start competing with Smash 4, and I started playing it. For whatever reason, when I started playing it, like I realized that I was getting frustrated, you know, like I was like kind of getting a little bit angry, and like anger is something I don't really feel very often. So it was kind of like a challenge for me. I'm like, okay, this is really challenging. This game is really hard. I want to figure out how to do this. Like I want to challenge myself. And that was a lot of reason why I did that. And in Smash, just like some other things, like it can be comparable to kind of like chess and tennis in a way with like mentality aspects. And I used to play tennis in high school, and I was never really like super good at it, but I was like I was really into it whenever I was playing for some reason. And there was a lot of frustration in that too back in high school when I played. So it was like it was figuring out how to manage that frustration and how to like get it under control and actually channel it into something useful. Because one of my goals is always to be like, I want to be like a calm and collected person when I play. I like, even though I'm an emotional person, I can be an emotional person because I'm passionate and I care a lot about it. But that's kind of where the meditation comes in, because it lets you kind of be more like at one with yourself and your emotions and how you feel, and stuff like that. And also just kind of eases your mind a bit, and it can really help in those situations. Like if you practice meditation and then you're in game and you're playing, and there's a situation where it's like super high tense situation, it can kind of give yourself the advantage, because you might be a lot more calm than your opponent if you do practice stuff like meditation. And it just has a bunch of other benefits as well, because with something like Smash, I try to be like the best I can be in game and like out of game. I think there's a lot of factors that go into it, and I feel like if I improve everything that I can to the best of my ability, then it gives me like the highest chances to win, like in the game.
I know you speak about frustration and anger, but what about nerves? Like, do you get nervous?
Every now and then I definitely do get a little bit nervous. A lot of the things, like a lot of the my nerves I kind of quell at this point, because I've been playing for like so long, where it's like if I go to a tournament, and I sit down, it's just like it's just me in the game, like it's just me in the match, and that's the goal, and it's just trying to learn and just play what's in front of me. But sometimes it does. There are a little bit of nerves, like for example in Vegas, because I'm not very often playing on like big stages. Sometimes it's smaller tournaments, and at Vegas it was a bigger stage and there was a lot more people watching, so it was a bit more of a unique situation that I wasn't always in, and there was a little bit of nerves there, although it was a bit under control. But um, I think I definitely have the nerves mostly under control. And if there's a new situation like the stage one, I feel like just having more experience with that kind of stuff kind of help quells it. And also it's just because there's also other methods too, like telling yourself like, uh, like self-affirming stuff. This is what I do. I'm just gonna go up there and play the game and do my best. And telling yourself that kind of stuff helps with nerves a lot too. So.
As a coach, do you tell those things to the people that you're coaching as well when they're nervous?
Yeah, I try a lot to practice what I preach, and I do in my coaching. There's a lot of mentality coaching too, because uh, I feel like on a lot of I feel like it's a really interesting part of the game and just a part of life too. And I feel like it's not something people focus on a lot with coaching. I feel like a lot of coaching, they're focusing on technical aspects, in-game aspects. Like what can you do in this situation that can be better. But sometimes like mentality comes first, and they're not going to be able to make those steps and make those leaps without like making a change in their mentality first, or at least trying to make an improvement somewhere there. And there's a lot of different like perspectives for it, but yeah.
I really admire your mindset. That's really cool. A lot of the
Thank
gamers
you.
that I've talked to are like aggressive. It's
Thank you.
really cool to hear that. Switching.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ECAC Esports. You just saw a great victory there for Wayne State in tonight's matchup against Canton. I'm quarterback. Alongside me is Suga, and we have one of the victorious Wayne State members here in the chat to talk to us. It is Impressi. Welcome aboard, Impressi. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Well, I know that Suga has some questions to start off with, so all yours.
On one round in Border, one thing that we talked about was the Monty pick that you guys went with on one of your attacks. And one assumption that we had was because you guys were having trouble when it came to like getting anywhere like near the site and site executions. And also you guys were having trouble with the roam a lot of the times. Can you give us some insights on the Monty pick in that one attacking ground?
Yeah, so on Border, that's our map pick, and I feel like sometimes we kind of struggle on attacking Border, and I feel like our backup is to usually rely on the Montane play because a lot of teams don't expect it and kind of don't know how to play it on that site. So, I mean, it worked out for us pretty well. So,
Yeah, I really did like the Montes. I also like the placements of y'all smokes. That's one thing that I
Yeah.
kind of like gushed about a lot. But Oregon was Sunny Canton's map pick, and one things that I wanted to wonder was what was your approach on the attack on Oregon, because it was more of the same with the roam from Sunny Canton, but it wasn't as effective as it was on border.
Yeah, we kind of learned how they played on border for the roaming, especially. So we kind of tried to just get picks early and then push off those picks. I know our player Hollow really did well at taking out their roamers, which really helped us push in the site easier. But in general, I mean, for attacking them, I feel like their strat was mainly it just reminded us of like a rank strat. So we kind of played well. We already knew how to play off that. So I think we played it well.
Okay.
Well, that's fair. I do have to ask, this was a matchup against another 3-1 team. You're tied for third place. Did you expect a difficult game coming into tonight's match, or did you guys think that you were going to kind of walk this one through?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we're a confident team. We know our strengths and our weaknesses, and we kind of looked into them a little bit. And I feel like we came in very confident with the game, especially with how we played on border to start. So I feel like in general we were really confident heading in and played confidently. So
You certainly did. Guess final question here. Anyone in the team or in the organization, you want to shout out for a particular contribution tonight, or anything big they did even behind the scenes to help you guys win?
Well, of course, our esports coach Nick does a great job of talking to everyone and getting us ready to play. And then we have Baka Bill really helps me as a captain. Our two new freshmen, Hollow and Edgy, do a great job. They're a great addition. And Terry's always good with support. So, I mean, just the whole team and the whole esports program as a whole is great.
Well, that's very generous of you to thank everybody, but you guys did well. So thank you so much for dropping in. And Prezi, you have a good evening celebrating with the rest of the team there. Congratulations on your victory and good luck with the rest of your matches.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Well, that about does it here for us tonight, Suga. Any final thoughts on tonight's match before we wrap it up?
Usually about the same. I just enjoy seeing some competitive Siege gameplay, and what a match it was from Wayne State College. Of course, there were some bright moments from Sunny Canton, especially from Revexity, a number of times on border, especially with his exciting Oryx plays. But Wayne State College ultimately deserved the full 3 points, and they will get it. They move their standings 4 wins, 1 losses, and I think they're officially in third place. I think the other people that were tied in third place are now tied for 4th. So there you go.
There you go. Big night for them. Thank you so much, of course, Suga, for joining us here. Thank you to our producer and our observer from the UK. So he's had a bit of a late night here to make sure this all goes off. But that'll do it here for tonight for week 5 of ECAC Rainbow Six Siege. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. If you want to see more exciting esports action tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST, same place, same channel, it'll be Valorant here for the ECAC. So another great action-packed tactical shooter there for you to watch. But for now, from all of us here at the ECAC, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful evening.
Say that. I'll get in trouble. There's one for each game, so teams this weekend, somebody's going to have to explain to TSA why they're coming home with an extra trophy. Fine. We're fine. This is going to be great. Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not even doing anything yet. Is it because I'm in a suit? It looks nice. It's new. I'm stressing. It's all right. We win these. We absolutely win these. I've never seen us lose these. I love him. I don't remember his name. What is going on, everybody? And oh, are we ready? I'll start over. Okay. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Collegiate Esport Commissioners Cup 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. The players are just now entering the arena for day 1. A lot of them had the opportunity to be here yesterday to get jerseys, to get familiar with the area, and to get to know one another. But today, the friendly gloves have to come off, and they are all here. Earlier, I was talking to these guys. This mannequin, when they didn't have anything else set up, I could see it from all the way down there, and I thought it was a person. And I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why is he standing like that? And I thought it was like a smooth criminal. I thought somebody was giving us like a Michael Jackson impression, and then It was a mannequin. I was really embarrassed to admit that. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. Hold on, let's go over this window. Let's go over this window. It just keeps going. There's so many people outside. There are so many people outside. We're gonna interview people when they come in. I don't really want to go outside. It looks like it's gonna rain, and this suit is new. So, oh, there's Doc Haskell. Hi, Doc. How are you? He brings a full notebook with him and like writes notes down. It was pretty insane. He had it yesterday. He's gonna be coming through this metal detector right here. I don't know his name though, but I recognize his hair.
Jen.
You're Jen. All right, we're gonna interview Jen, who's supporting Kennesaw. I'm gonna ask you like a couple of very simple questions. Okay. Are we ready? All right, great. College. I really like Georgia College's color scheme. It's just red, white, and blue, I think, but I think they did it in a really clever way. Mineral area wearing hoodies, even though it is 75 degrees outside here in Atlanta, Georgia. Absolute legends.
If only Nick could hear you. Nick, come back.
If he's over 100 feet away, he can't.
You were whispering something, and he started smiling. I'm like, are you whispering?
Oh yeah, because he's got his headphone in if we're close enough. But
Bless you.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit again. You're welcome. I'm gonna go find him. Oh, there he is. Oh my. Oh, okay. Real stuff is starting. Real stuff. Competitive integrity needs to be upheld. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I get really embarrassed when I get yelled at.
30 is
Okay. Wow, it's not 10:30 yet.
It's only like barely 10.
Woo! All right, it's gonna be a long. Hey, what's up? Surprise interview. Join me over here though, so we have a cool backdrop. What are we here for?
Rocket League.
Awesome. I'm not going to ask what school you go to because unless you swapped hoodies, that seems pretty clear.
No, you know, I got my jersey on with my name on it.
Oh, you do? Show us your jersey. Look at John T. Turbo here.
Yeah,
that's not his name. I just keep calling him that.
Yeah.
His name is John, but
my name is John Turbesi.
Yeah,
that's
not John T. Turbo.
Yeah, I get the message that I'm going to Nebraska where I met you.
Oh, that's so crazy. So context, if we're probably not going to use this, but I want to talk about it. Turbo and I met at a LAN like over a year ago. That's so great. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports Commissioner's Cup. I am Seb Dillons, joined by a man I have interviewed probably well over 10 times. It's going to be my good friend Neb here from Bay State Overwatch team. Neb looked at me before he started his last series, and he said, "We are not dropping a map for the rest of the day." And so far, he has lived up to that title. But Neb, is there anybody you're thinking, we've got to get them out of the way, we've got to take them down?
No.
No? Just looking at it, each fight's its own, every game going into it, just taking it as it comes?
I have the confidence right now that we're not going to drop a single map.
I love Neb because not only is he confident, but he's correct. Bay State is one of the best Overwatch teams I've ever seen. So it's always good to hear. I love the confidence, and I love Bay State, so I hope they do a great job this weekend. So what qualifier, did you win a qualifier to get here?
At-large bid.
We're looking at Rocket League, we're thinking high odds, low odds, where do we think we're walking away?
I think pretty high. I think we're doing pretty good.
Is there anybody that you're looking at, you're like, please do not let us go up against them unless we absolutely have to?
I mean, really, everybody's good competition, so.
And sorry, what was your name?
Ethan.
Ethan from Mineral Area.
Yep.
Very exciting. Well, Ethan, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. What kind of pass? A player pass?
Let me get you in here.
No, you actually have to like tape it to your chest, like really awkwardly with masking tape. Okay. And it's gonna fall off. Yeah. It's gonna be uncomfortable, I promise. That's a guarantee. Okay, cut that, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, great. I'm great, everything's good.
Who do we interview? Who should we interview?
I don't know, I'm just here. I need caffeine.
Hey guys, KTAD here. Now, I've been told I need to step in to create like a buffer zone between some of the other hosts so that the Valorant v Overwatch conflict may finally come to an end. But between you and me guys, I don't think they both realize that League's kind of already won that war. So don't tell them anything. But anyways, you guys already know why we're here, and if not, well, then you're in luck, because we've got some of the best collegiate esports moments right here. Don't believe me? Well, that's okay, but you know, here's your proof. Let's get into it. To start us off, we have the combo of Matt and Festive as they execute a brilliant mid-air handoff to close out Game 2 and tie up the series.
Here in regulation, can Festive and Matt do it? Matt's there, puts it in, and we do get the go-ahead goal. Is it going to be enough to end it here in reg?
25 seconds left right here. About 2 minutes since our last goal. 5th total in this one. Is this looking like moderately?
Feeling thirsty? Well, if you are, then Crollo's got what you need with these sick plays on Pac-Man.
Always guaranteed the stock goes for the side special into that. That would have been an insane way to end it.
And now Crollo looking for the fire hydrant edge guard. Slam dunk right there. Is there able to finish them off?
At number 6, see if you can count the ultimates here.